Good evening, everybody, and welcome to round 4 of the 2013 Touring Pro Series Virtual V8 Supercar Championship. We are here at the fantastic Adelaide Parkland Street Circuit, which is sure to be a fantastic race, a single endurance race today rather than our double formats of the past two races. Scott Woodwiss here, standing in for Ryan Callan. He's feeling a little under the weather for tonight's event, but alongside me is the perennial co-commentator for the V8 Supercar Series, Mr. Danny Asbury. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, Scott. Always good here to be in the booth for another round of action here. Adelaide's always a very interesting track we get to on the calendar. I believe it was round 4 last year as well, so I'm very excited to see exactly what the future holds for this championship here this afternoon.
Well, speaking of the championship, let's quickly take a look at the standings then as they come into round 4. And in the Drivers' Championship, this is how they stand. At the top of the table, if I can get my screen to switch over, there we go, because I'm reading off a completely different screen. Jeffrey Reitveld currently sits top of the table with 227 points, and he has a lead ahead of Jesper Talborg in second on 214. Toby Davis is third on 193, with Kevin Brents fourth on 180, and Rasmus Salo on 175, with Simon Kielov sixth on 171, Heinz Petzold seventh on 150, Eric Strana eighth on 133, Robert Godeker ninth on 124, and Darren Adams 10th on 122. Teams Championship sees THR Orange at 407 points, just about 9 points ahead of Precision Motorsports on 398. THR Red are third with 326. Core Racing Prime are fourth with 272. Ice Cold Racing Swedes fifth with 254. And DPG Motorsports, Optimum Sim Racing Blue, THR Blue, No Limit Motorsports and Optimum Sim Racing Green are rounding out the top 10 in the Teams Championship. So, from what we've seen so far in the opening 3 rounds, Danny, what would you make in terms of the standings right now? It seems to be that, for the moment at least, Reitveld and Talborg have the measure in the championship, but Davis isn't too far behind, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, what we've seen through the first 3 rounds, this is probably one of the most compelling championships we have going at the TPS right now. You pretty much only, 34 points between third and first, Reitveld and Davis. And then, Salo's sitting there in 5th position on 175 points. So you're seeing a very condensed championship up at the top. And one of the most interesting things you're seeing about this title fight right now is from round to round, we're seeing a dominant team emerge. Okay, and when I say dominant team, it's pretty much THR Precision. Okay, it's pretty much like a back and forth game between these two outfits at the moment, because obviously at Melbourne, Precision had the edge. At Barbagallo, THR and Toby Davis came back with full force, full effort to go claim a double win there. And then again, Precision, they were on it at Simmons Plains to get a double win in their own right. And now here we go here at Adelaide. And I'm very curious if it's going to be either Precision or THR to take the edge. So far, like you said, Scott, only 9 points in the Constructors' Championship at the moment. So it's pretty much it's anyone's game at this point. So I'm very curious to see how it all unravels here this afternoon.
Well, I'm certainly very curious to see exactly how the Virtual V8 Supercar boys race, because if anyone's not too sure, my commentating career, this is my first ever Virtual V8 Supercar broadcast. But I'm very pleased to be in the booth alongside Danny for this race. I know that he does always a good job when he ever commentates alongside either Ryan or Carrick or Keith Barrick or both of them. So it should be, as you said, a really intriguing spectacle around these streets. A quick profile of the circuit that we're racing on. It's the Adelaide Street Circuit. It's a temporary street circuit in the East Parklands, adjacent to the central business district of Adelaide in South Australia. Of course, it's most famous for holding the Australian Grand Prix between the years of 1985 and 1995. It's also it's always hosted the opening round of the real Australian V8 Supercar Championship. They run 2 250-kilometre races, and the event is known as the Clipsal 500. It's always one of the most revered and spectacular race weekends, and a great way to kick off the V8 Supercar season every year. Also, they actually held an endurance race here for the American Le Mans Series on, I believe it was New Year's Eve in 1999. It was called the Race of 1,000 Years, and I think it was won by the very dominant Audi R8s of that time. So I think even Alan McNish won that in a crocodile livery Audi R8, which is quite fitting of Australia. But we're looking currently at our man who is top in the championship, and top of the practice times. It is Jeffrey Reitveld on a 1 minute 17.270. Eunice Ravio is second on a 1:17.536, and then Simon Kielov is third on a 1:17.601, ahead of his title rival in the Clios, and his rival certainly from Thruxton, Toby Davis, in fourth with a 1:17.711. We've also got Florian Strauss, which we're going to have a look at now quickly as we have a look on the screen here. Let's quickly tab to Strauss here. There he is. And Strauss really, since he was the champion in 2011, he hasn't. His last victory was Melbourne back in 2012, and he's been kind of off pace in terms of the V8s. Danny, he's starting to generally slowly starting to find his form again. How much more of a progression do you think we'll see Florian make towards the front of the field? Because he's currently 5th in practice, so it shows he has managed to find some pace in the break between this race and Simmons Plains 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate how we've seen Florian kind of fall off in 2013 because, like you said, Scott, he is a former champion of this league. At Melbourne, he was just really off pace. At Barbagallo, a little better. But last round at Simmons Plains, we really saw Florian Strauss come on to get that form we were used to seeing from him. With a top 3 qualifier, in fact. The thing is, though, his race pace has been put in such question over the last 2 years of his V8 league, and people are wondering if the guy can keep the tires together for a full race thing. Now, again, we're seeing with the week leading up to in testing here that Strauss has again won the top drive. I think it was number 3 on live races leading into this thing. But again, the question within the paddock, talking to some of these drivers, is that they are questioning whether or not Florian can keep the tires together. Because, I mean, Scott, we're looking at a very long race stints here today. Because usually the stints last around 50 kilometers so far in this championship. Now we're looking at maybe 75 kilometers. These guys have to make the tires last to get a 2-stop strategy to work. And so that's really not going to play into Florian Strauss's hands here today. It all depends, again, if he's got the tire conservation down, if he can make those sprint tires last strongly through the remainder of the stint.
And of course, tyre wear is going to be a major factor for everyone because we are on sprint tyres, but we're running an endurance event. We're running a 200-kilometre event. I don't think Florian wants to do that too much. He wants to last the whole race distance, tapping it on 2 wheels through the centre chicane and extremely high curves through that section, and we'll go for a lap in just a moment in the remainder of this session. But as we talk about tyres, of course, sprint tyres in an endurance race are 200 kilometres, 63 laps. We're expecting drivers to split that into 3 equal stints of 21 laps. So, but would you be surprised if anyone has an alternate strategy to that site? Because I can't really see any other strategy working.
You know, I've talked to quite a few drivers about this, and now the main one is, of course, the 2-stop strategy around lap 21 to 24. We're looking for that first stop. But there are some drivers I'm hearing that are entertaining the idea of a 3-stop strategy. Okay, I don't want to throw out those names just yet. Once we get in the race, maybe I'll do some name dropping. But there are a few drivers that are looking into the possibility of 3 stops because, like you said, Scott, it's going to be very long, since 20 laps here on this twisty circuit of Adelaide. That's tough for these tires to deal with, especially the sprint tires. So drivers have had to look into that 3-stop strategy. Whether or not we'll see it today, I'm sure we'll see it from a few drivers, but I think the majority of runners are going to be on that 2-stop strategy to try to maximize the potential of these tires.
Most definitely. It is really going to make for some intriguing race and also some intriguing strategy, because that is going to be key to see how these guys able to manage these sprint tyres throughout the race distance. Just a quick mention, of course, to our title sponsor, GamePod. Of course, they are one of the leading specialists and providers for sim racing furniture and sim racing rigs. And, I mean, just talking about it, Danny, because I believe you're well voiced on the subject of GamePod. Just how key is it that GamePod are supporting Virtual V8 Supercars? Whoa, that was a... Well, it looks like they're flipping all over the curbs here at Adelaide. That's going to be a real key point. But back to GamePod, of course. How key is it that GamePod are supporting Virtual V8 Supercars and TouringProSeries in general, Danny?
It's always great to have a sponsor like this on board in a series because obviously they add more hype, more panache, with a name like GamePod. And I mean, they're offering the GT2 Evo model gaming chassis worth 1,600 euros. Okay, now keep in mind there's no entry fee to get into this league here in Virtual V8, completely free for the participants, and to get access to something like this is truly remarkable. And now GamePod, they of course have been with us for the last 2 years for Ash and those guys. So it's always great to have them on board. I mean, we certainly don't want them to go away anytime soon. And as long as they want to keep partnership with us, we are happy to have them on board. Because obviously, yeah, it takes this league we have here in Virtual V8 to a whole nother level. So it's always great to have GamePod sponsoring the championship. Hopefully, they'll be doing that for the foreseeable future.
Of course, they do provide some excellent support, and we do thank GamePod, of course, from everyone here at TouringProSeries for their constant support. It is very valued, and of course it does help give a little bit extra prestige and professionalism to TouringProSeries and of course the Virtual V8 Supercar Championships. So thank you once again. We'll be playing an advert for them just at the end of this practice session here. Also, it's key to point out that we are also supporting Cancer Research UK in this championship as well. All the cars carry Cancer Research UK liveries. There is also a shout out I would like to give later on, possibly even between races or in the warm-up before race 1, for a friend of mine who is one of his family members has managed to pretty much almost be in the clear of a fight with leukemia. So I will mention that later on, but it's something that I really would like to mention. So, and I've cleared it with Ryan. He said he's absolutely fine, so that should be okay to do. So, watching here on board with Jesper Tolborg here, and he's currently second in the championship, chasing after Jeffrey Rietveld. Not on track, of course, because that's heading down towards the final hairpin here. And let's actually, if Tolborg's going to go for a lap then, let's go for a lap then on the Adelaide street circuit. Then down the pit straight, you head towards the centre S here. There's some huge curves on the inside of these first couple of corners. You have to really pick your line here. There's huge tyres on the inside. That's a perfect line from Tolborg. As he now heads down towards turn 4, which is the Wakefield corner, I believe. Let me get my track map up on here so we can have a look at this one. If I can bring that up at all, I've got it. Heading now into turn 5 again. This circuit is a very stop-start circuit. It's typical of a street circuit, close walls, and not so much going on in terms of very much runoff area anywhere. Heading on now to one of the very long back sections here as we head onto the back of the circuit. And we're heading down towards the very treacherous turn 8 here. This is where so many incidents have happened. We've had quite a few cars crash here in the past, including, in fact, Toby Davis as well has managed to an incident here. So you have to pick your line exactly right to make sure you don't suffer the same fate. Huge braking zone down towards the turn 11 hairpin, or turn 9 hairpin, and then just throw it in there, and I believe Tolborg is giving up his lap because we are at the end of warm-up. So, but that final section, it's more of a permanent section around the parkland which they use. It takes you back towards the end of the hairpin, which is the Mistral hairpin, and back onto the pit straight. And just how exhilarating is it for a lap here in the V8 Supercars, Danny, in terms of how much concentration these guys have got to put in a street circuit like this? Because I believe it's, looking at the calendar for the for the Virtual V8 Supercars, this is only one of possibly a couple of street circuits. Any one I think which we're other visiting is even Sydney. So this is kind of a unique circuit that these guys aren't going to be visiting for too much.
Yeah, it's without question the hardest track we come to all season because, like you said, Scott, the concentration has to be so high around this track because the curbs really want to throw the car off, and then if it throws you off just a little bit, you're into the wall. I mean, we've seen drivers like Toby Davis, like you mentioned there, Scott, a guy who's very rarely, he's known for making a few mistakes, but usually Toby is very crisp, very clean, but we've seen guys like him DNF at this round. We've seen Florian Strauss run into trouble here. A lot of guys run into trouble here at Adelaide because of those walls, because of the curves. They throw the car around so much that you have to be on it for an hour and 30 minutes. Actually, I think this race lasts a little past an hour and 30 minutes, so perhaps the most physically and mentally demanding track we'll visit all year here. And just real quick about Jesper Tolborg, as we saw him at the end of warm-up, a lot of people have given Tolborg flack because he hasn't shown, I guess, that race-winning pace, but at the end of the day, the guy is 13 points off the championship lead, and pretty much is sitting exactly where he wants to be as his championship progresses. So even though Tolborg has not won a race, has not really shown that form to get a race win, don't count out the Iceman to perhaps take this championship title down, because I do think he's the favorite at this point in the season. Now, of course, here we are running with Jeffrey Rietveld. Rietveld, of course, ran 17.2 at the end of that practice session, which is the fastest time we've seen through the week of testing here at Adelaide. Of course, the guy who was provisionally the fastest guy was Simon Keeloff, Jeffrey Rietveld's teammate, at a 17.3. So right now it looks to be Precision's game to take down this pole time.
Well, the man who's currently flying at the moment is this man we're on board with, Eric Tveit, as he heads down towards the hairpin. In fact, there is Jeffrey Rietveld in front of him there, so he's also on a lap 2. So we'll possibly just jump to him in a second to see if we can grab the times. But I went to Eric's bike because he seemed to be setting, at the moment at least, a faster first sector time than Jeffrey Rietveld was doing, and I noticed that was because he was rather ragged through that first chicane of the centre S, so we'll see exactly how much time he's managed to claw back. So as we head now quickly to the front here to Jeffrey Rietveld, across the line he comes to, I think, set the first of the times across the line, and he goes top with a 1:17.756, and Tveit slots in with a 1:17.9. So not too many times coming in. Eunice Rivia at 1:17.991, so he was 200th of a second back. So at the moment Jeffrey Rietveld's laid down the benchmark and he's going out again to set another lap time. And the good thing about this qualifying session that compared to any others we have in TPS is that it is pretty much 15 minutes free for all, so you can go out and do as many times as you want, as we have got Toby Davis going faster in the first sector. In fact, he's really flying by a tenth and a half, so we'll see if we can pick him up. There he is, onto the back section.
Yeah, and it looks like a Rietveld, that 17.7 you're seeing, that is completely a banker lap. You're going to have to do better than that to get pole position. Anything, I think pole time is going to be around 17.4, 17.5 is going to be your minimum. So now you're seeing some of the drivers really push it. I see we have Toby Davis about 2/10 underneath Rietveld's time. So again, that will put him in that 17.5 range. But Toby Davis, we haven't really seen his full hand displayed here so far through the week of testing. I think his fastest time before today was like 18 flat, which of course I think was only his race pace. So we'll see what Toby Davis can really do. Again, he really doesn't show what he's got until we get going in quali here. In pre-practice, I mean warm-up rather, he was only at a 17.7, so we'll see what Toby has as he crosses the line. Toby Davis, ooh, there's an 18.1, so maybe Toby Davis is struggling in that final sector. We'll see what, I guess, what Strauss can come up with as he rounds the final corner here. So far, Strauss sitting in 7th. I remember, I think he was number 3 or number 4 in live timing through the week of testing. We'll see what Strauss can do. There he goes, number 1, but just barely over Rietveld. So it looks like it's game on for the pole position here, Scott.
Strauss seems to have found his form. Well, he won't do that while taking that kind of line through the centre S, I can tell you that now. But I think we've got Simon Keelov on our lap at the moment. Simon Keelov, of course, we're talking about Toby Davis. These two had a fantastic fight, Keelov and Davis, and Keelov just about gets it stopped, and that's some fantastic sideways action, and I think he just gave up on the lap because he knew he was running too deep into there. But mentioning about Simon Keelov, he did actually have a fantastic scrap with Toby Davis, as he almost spins it in the pit lane rather embarrassingly in front of one of the Ice Pete cars. But he had a fantastic race at Thruxton in the Tom Onslow Cole Cleo series, which we will of course give a mention to later on as well. The next round is coming up in a couple of weeks' time. And these two had a fantastic last lap battle where it came to the point where Toby Davis was sideways into the final chicane, and he managed to hold on for the victory. But Keelov took the win, and they now sit on 3 victories apiece going to the next round of Poznan, as we said, in a couple of weeks' time. But of course, we're here for the Virtual V8 Supercars, and one thing I've noticed already with these V8 Supercars is that compared to the real V8 Supercars, these guys are sliding these things around a lot more than their real life counterparts are. And of course, I can tell why, because they've got a fixed diff. They've got huge, big, fat rear tyres as well. Lots of horsepower in there with the huge V8 engines. Hence the name V8 Supercars. State in the office, Scott. But Simon, these cars are absolutely fantastic, and they always do provide a fantastic spectacle for racing.
Yeah, you pointed out that these guys really slide these cars to get these fast times, and you've seen that at an exaggerated degree once we go into quali here, because obviously the car is very light with less fuel in it, and then these guys have to really ring the car around the corners like that to get the time out of them, because you don't have to worry about the tires when you're only out there for 1 or 2 laps. In the race, you'll see guys settle down a little bit more, because obviously you have to extend the tire life a little bit. But so far, I'm interested. It's interesting to see at the front that Florian Strauss still holds pole position with that low 17.7. The thing is that we're seeing position 1, 2, 3 after that, with Ice Cold holding 4 here at Eric Tveit. And I actually got a bit of a tip that Ice Cold's racing, Ice Cold's setup rather, is very good for this round. Some drivers have told me that Ice Cold may have one of the better setups as opposed to what they've had, as opposed to their package that they brought to the opening 3 rounds, where they have been a step below Precision and THR. Now it looks like they may very well be on that plateau with Precision and THR. Now, certainly not looking good there, but Tveit, he does improve to go 3rd. Toby Davis improves to go 4th. So it looks like Ice Cold, that tip I got about their setup being very good, might be true, as it looks like Ice Cold are within that top 3. Hopefully they can continue to do well with only 8 minutes left on the quali board.
Well, we're looking at Rasmus Sala here, another very impressive man. He's come to TPS rather soon. He's trying to make a name for himself here in the V8 Supercars. He's had, again, a fantastic race weekend in trucks and managed to grab pole position for race 2 in the Tom Onslow Cole Clear series, but now he's trying his hand here, and and that turn 8. That is what we were talking about for turn 8.
Yeah.
Clouts the inside wall. I think we can get a replay of that just quickly to see exactly how that happened. We're going to go on board with here Rasmus Salo, and let's just point out exactly what he did wrong, because it looks to me as if he turns in, if we watch him here, it looks to me as if he just turned in just a bit too early. Here he comes towards the 100, brakes at 75 metres, and yeah, clips the inside wall. It looks to me he was a bit over-eager to try to turn into that corner right there.
Yeah, that's a very fine line you have to run through that corner, because obviously if you turn in too late, you're into the outside wall. You turn in too early, you're going to clip the inside wall. But if you don't attack that corner, you're going to kill your lap. You're not going to get any pace out of the car, because you can easily take half a second out your lap if you hit that corner right. So these guys have to absolutely push to that rapier edge to get a top quality time. As you're seeing Reef, I think he is gone faster through sector 2, or no, sector 1, and as he's going through sector 2, that corner we were just talking about. We'll see what he can come up with as he's still down the time, or up on the time rather. So it looks like Reef has got the pace to go after Strauss's pole time, his provisional pole time at the moment. We'll see how Reef can come through this final sector, but I don't think Reef has been too particularly strong through this final sector. I know Strauss was very quick through his final sector on his provisional pole time. We'll see what Reef can come up with as he rides the final. So a little traffic in front of him. Hopefully that doesn't bother him too much. Maybe actually give him a bit of a tow as he gets through the start-finish straight. We'll see what Reef can do. There it is.
Wow.
Here's your pole time. Wow. And Keeloff goes fast as well, as looks like Reef 17.4, Keeloff 17.6. So now the precision guys are really starting to stretch their legs out here. Those are going to be very tough times now for the rest of the field to go match, Scott.
It is, and precision again dominating at the head of the field, as we are used to seeing them right at the moment. As we're watching now Florian Strauss as he makes his way through the final couple of corners. He was about a second off the current pole time as he heads off the pit straight. Still running third on a 17.7. He heads across the line, and he's obviously 1:19.1. So I think he's winding up for another lap here. And what's amazing, of course, we've got a 30-car field here. Is again, little Strauss has given up that lap once more. That's going to be a real key factor going to turn 1, because especially right at the start, because when you've got 30 of these V8 Supercars bunched all together and they're all firing their way down towards turn 1, if some of them possibly going 2, 3, maybe even 4 wide if there's room, there's going to be tears at the end of it, and someone's going to come off worse. And I've seen from starts before with V8 Supercars, and also from what's happened in previous years here at Adelaide in the real V8 Supercars. You know, if you get your line running over those curves, because they're so huge, they're huge. They're more like more sausage curves. They're more like like elephant legs, I suppose. They're so huge that you can just it can really launch the car into the air. And of course, on the landing, you can damage the front splitter or the suspension or any of the internals or the underbody of the car, and that can really compromise the handling throughout the race. And that's something you really don't want when you're running 63 laps of a circuit like this.
These guys have to form up once the race gets going. If you see guys, going 3 wide through that corner, of course there's going to be trouble. So the cooler heads pretty much are going to prevail. The guys like Thalberg that know how to keep the nose clean at the start of these races are going to benefit. And speaking of Thalberg down to 7th. Meanwhile, his teammate we're riding on board with here, Toby Davis, has ran a time to get him on that front row of the grid at the moment with a 17.5. Again, that's the fastest time we've seen from Toby Davis all week. So maybe Toby's really starting to get his legs under him here. The curious thing we're seeing, I was about to point out about THR, Eunice Ravio, who's sitting down in 6th, was the fastest of the THR drivers until Toby, of course, got that time to get him now on the front row provisionally. The thing is, Ravio, I've talked to some of the THR drivers. They're saying that he might be that dark horse pick to win this race, because they're telling me he's tremendously quick under race conditions. So maybe Eunice Ravio, who we've also saw be very quick at both Simmons Plains and Barbagallo, is on it to maybe get a race win here today. But again, it looks like it's going to be Precision THR, Precision at the front. We have Florian Strauss there in 4th, but it looks like Keeloff was the fastest driver through Sector 1 as he's gone purple, as he gets ready to go into Sector 2 marker, and he is now down on his teammates' time. So we'll see how he can go through this final sector. Remember, we've seen Keeloff go on a 17.3, so it's not out of the realm of possibilities that Rietveld, or rather Keeloff, can now overtake his teammate Rietveld and get that pole position, because a lot of people think this guy right here, Simon Keeloff, is the tip to win this race, is the favorite even to win this race, just by the pace he's shown through the week of testing.
Here comes Keylove across the line, and he actually does go to second, so that even though he lost time in the final 2 sectors, he did set a time that was faster than Toby Davies, but only by about 15 thousandths of a, no, 25 thousandths of a second or so. So it's not much, but in terms of motorsport, of course, it doesn't have to be much for it to make a huge difference. As we're now watching Florian Strauss make his way across the line, with his little lap time put him on the board, stays 4th, but he is now just fractions away from his best time of 17.725. Up to 17.761 on that ride, and I think with a clean run through the first chicane, looks as though he's going to go for another run here, down towards the turn 4. Very tricky braking zone here, and just puts the back end of the car in first before he goes to the corner. And, yep, spears the outside wall, that spins him straight in the middle of the track. And the good thing is, of course, because it's rFactor in virtual racing, you always have to do is hit his gate and go straight out of the way of the car behind you, not compromising their line at all. With just about 2 minutes left in the session, could do a quick rundown of how they look so far coming to the end of our qualifying for today's race in the Virtual V8 Supercars. It is Jeffrey Wrightbelt, who is currently top on a 17.459, then Simon Keylove second on a 17.544, and Toby Davis on a 17.569. Florian Strauss is 4th, the man we're looking at here, without minus a front bumper, but I think that's only a graphical glitch, on a 17.725, and there is his front bumper as he drives past it. Eric de Veit, 5th on a 17.829, and then we've got Eunice Rabio at 6th, the dark horse, as Daniel mentioned, on a... In fact, he goes 5th, in fact, just as we're talking about that, jumps to 5th on the 17.818, so he goes about 11 thousandths quicker than Eric de Veit, so he's now 6th. Robert Godeker is now 7th on a 17.848, Jesper Talborg 2nd in the championship, 8th on an 18.1, and he actually jumps to 5th with that lap then, so Talborg there with a fantastic lap to move up to within... a third of a second, as I believe that was Eric de Veit going for a little flight through the chicane. We've seen so many drivers do already in these practice and qualifying sessions. And then Rasmus Salo, 9th on an 18.321, and just behind Kevin Brent on an 18.333. So a minute to go then. Who do you expect is possibly going to have a chance to run again for pole position? Because looking down the field quickly as we still look at Talborg, he's gone for another run. He's just about 2/10 down on this lap at the moment. He will get, I believe, in time, well, looking at the laps, he will get one more lap in if he's quick. Looking at down and see who's exactly on track, Wrightbelt is now going over the chicanes. Keylove feels he's good enough for 2nd place. Davis is out there trying to set another time, I believe. Strauss is also, of course, out there. Talborg is who we're watching now. Rivio's out there. Most of the top 10 are out there. Rasmus Salo in 9th is out on the field. Kevin Brent is still out there. And also Adrian Holm trying to break into the top 10 too. We're still watching Jesper Talborg. We'll go to Toby Davis in a moment. But it seems to be that these guys don't feel comfortable with their positions. And of course, they're trying to go for that pole position with just a few seconds left to go. Now, looks to me that Talborg, I think, may get, as we said, one more run in just as he goes across the line. The time he gets this time around is a 17.890, and he crossed the line with about 4 seconds left to go. So this is going to be his final attempt, but that THR Blue Machine, his sister teammate, will not help his run any. In fact, he does move out of the way swiftly to allow Talborg to continue his quest for pole position.
I believe that was Ivan Navarro, his teammate, who just got out the way there. But there's nothing I've seen from the THR camp that make me, well, it looks like they're pulling out of it now. So I don't think Talborg's going to be able to challenge Rico's pole time. Well, I think he even improved it a little bit now. It's got a low 17.4. But it looks like Precision, they are the class of the field. THR in 3rd. Florian Strauss, like we went over, he's in 4th position, but he's actually without his teammate Sasha Glader here today. So perhaps Sasha just couldn't attend the race here. But I know 360 Racing, they could have really used the points from both of their drivers. But the driver who's really surprised a lot of people in this championship, Adrian Holm, is there in 12th position, driving for Ice Cold Racing. Remember, Adrian took a pole position at Barbagallo and was really strong at Simmons Plains as well. So it looks like Adrian's really struggling here at Adelaide, as is Kevin Brent, who's sitting 4th in the championship, has only managed to qualify 11th at this point, as our time is expiring here in the session. Talborg cannot improve, so it looks like things will stay status quo at the front with Rietveld, Keylove, Davis, Strauss, and Talborg. So again, it's going to be hard to crack this Precision 1-2, as those guys looking very strong. But THR, they are in position with 3 cars within the top 6, so they do have the numbers. THR. It just depends where they are with their race pace, Scott.
Absolutely, and we'll find out exactly how that race pace is going to play out when we get to the warm-up and then the race. 63 laps of Adelaide is ahead for us tonight, so stay tuned. We're going to run our sponsor adverts, including GamePod and InsideTeamRacing.tv, as well as a trailer for the upcoming Tom Onslow Cold Clear Series next week. So stay tuned, and myself and Danny will be back with the grid and round 4 of the 2013 TPS Virtual V8 Supercar Series. Back in 2.
GamePod, the ultimate race rig for those serious about sim racing. Puts you in the driver's seat with all the controls at your fingertips. Be number one on the road, in the race, in the game. GamePod, the choice of champions.
InsideSimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Attention grid, will all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
Second, Jonathan Okercliffe there in 23rd, with Bruno Sosa Fiera there in 24th. Down in 25th, we do have Matt Richards with Kevin I absolutely cannot read that name with the blur on. We're getting
I believe it's Kevin Enderman.
Yeah, how do I forget that? Kevin Enderman is 26th. Lee Palmer is 27th with Julio Ornelas. Julio Hornell, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. Ethan Bass will round out the grid in 29th position. Again, I'm not sure who Ethan is driving for. If I can just check. SimSpeed. He's driving for SimSpeed Racing, of course, there in 29th. And as the guys start off on their warm-up.
Yeah, apologies. I did the same mistake I made in the Thomas Cole series. I forgot to unmute the team speak, so unfortunately you only heard half of the grid there. But you see the rest of the grid is down below there, so apologies for that. It's my mistake. My over-eagerness to get back to the broadcast. But just quickly here, whilst in the warm-up, I wanted to give a special shout-out to a friend of mine who's I made friends with on YouTube. We're on the Cancer Research car here UK of independent Ben Crooks. There's a good reason for this, because my friend from YouTube, a guy by the name of Andre Harrison, or Dre as he likes to be called, or as he's known on YouTube, Harrison101HD, he recently put up a video on his channel telling about the story of his sister's 2.5-year fight with leukemia, which I'm pleased to say, after 2.5 years of chemotherapy, the leukemia has now gone into remission, which basically means for the moment she's in the all clear. So that's a fantastic thing to hear. He was very brave to make a video about it, and I give full credit to him as well. So I just wanted to quickly point out that the video he has made, if you visit his YouTube page, youtube.com/Harrison101HD, and click the video which is called Dre Talks Episode 6, I believe, Kendra's Story. He's placed that for every like the video gets, he will donate 20p to, I believe it's the Great Ormond Street Hospital, which is where Kendra was treated. And for every 50 likes it gets, he will double that amount as well. So please do go and visit, and also do subscribe to him as well. He puts some fantastic content, including F1 2012 videos and the like, and also some a show called Around the Corner, which is I frequent on there as well. I'm a 3-time debate champion on there, so it's a fantastic thing to see. But yeah, please do go and support that cause. It's absolutely fantastic video, and do go and subscribe to him. It's excellent to hear his sister has now gone out of remission then. So quickly then, we head to the front of the grid because we are looking now for the start of round 4 of the 2013 Virtual V8 Supercar Series here at Adelaide. It's an all-precision front row with Rietveld on pole and Kielov in second. Here come the lights then. It's the shoot down towards the first corner. Who's going to win it? Is it going to be a precision lead, or is Davis or Flatstrauss going to get the better start? We wait for the lights and away they go. A great jump from Rietveld. And look at Toby Davis off the line. What a start from Toby Davis, going up the inside of Rietveld, down towards the first corner, into the centre S for the first time. There's shenanigans everywhere. And there's more contact, and Strauss is round. Strauss is around, and there's contact in the back. Where has Strauss got to? We're trying to find exactly where he is. As that's the sky, not the track. And where is Florian Strauss? Strauss is, I believe, looking down the order.
He's 28th, but he's
28th.
Wow.
And let's see where he is. There he is, and he's lost his front bumper as well, so that is a disaster for Florian Strauss. And that's what happened to him here.
Yeah, it looked like Toby Davis had a great start, kind of, I guess he was flooring off a little bit, and the plane just got sideways there. I'm not sure. As we're taking a look at the replay, this was curves, yeah.
And that was Toby Davis as well. If you saw that, Toby Davis kind of checked up between two precision machines, and that caused them to go nose to tail. Toby avoided the curbs, and that saw Strauss goes straight into the back of, I think it was Kielov, as Rietveld goes wide over the curbs, and Kielov's up the inside. They're side by side for two precision guys, and Kielov takes the lead by the end of the first lap. And how keen will Rietveld be able to get that position back? Into the final corner they go, the Mistral hairpin, and as they head on the end of the first lap, it will be Kielov leading for Rietveld second. Robert Godecker, what a start from the Ford driver. Third place, I believe, is it the Ford driver? Sorry, it's the Opel driver, I guess, because he's got Opel on the front of his car. But they head through the chicane, and this is going to be extremely tricky throughout the whole race. They head through. It's Kielov from Rietveld, then Godecker in third. Davis is in fourth place, ahead of Rabio in fifth. Talborg sixth. Tveit, Holm, Rasmus Salo, and Darren Adams round out the top 10. what a hectic first lap we had, especially for Strauss, down at the back of the field after an unfortunate incident in the first corner.
Yeah, it looks like there might have been some contact between Toby Davis and Jeffrey Rietveld, because I'm noticing a dent on the left side of Rietveld's car there. I'm not sure if you can pick it up there on camera, but it looks like maybe that's what caused him to go wide a little late in Sector 3, which allowed his teammate to go through. Godeka, meanwhile, is up to third, and Toby Davis, though, looks like he is falling back, so maybe Davis also took some damage there, because usually you would see Davis, he's very strong as the race opens up, but it looks like he's falling back from Godeka, and Godeka,
sorry, that was Rasmus Sala trying to dive down the inside of Adrian Holm, I believe, and I think, did he make the move 6? No, he didn't. He was very close to Kenny, puts his nose up the inside of turn 10, so he's very eager to make up some positions, is the Finn, as they head across. But, sorry, I'm sorry to cut across you there. Well, please finish your point there, Sally.
It looks like the field is still pretty condensed here in midfield, but I was just saying at the front, Robert Godeka is even catching up here to Rietveld. I mean, actually, the gap is not too far. I know Godeka was very close back a few corners ago, and now Toby Davis seems to be getting his legs under him as now he's starting to cut down the gap to Godeka. But this is now Kilov's time to pull the gap here to his teammate Jeffrey Rietveld in second. As you're seeing, wow, this field is still so condensed around this tight street circuit of Adelaide here, Scott.
Yep, the 29 strong field file their way through turn 4, Wakefield Avenue, and let's see exactly where Florian Strauss is made up. He is currently still at the back of the field, an entire lap down, as is Ethan Bass. So there is Ethan Bass, I believe, in 28th as he moves through. Well, that's off an Osserklint, I believe, in fact.
And that's just the timing you're seeing there. Those guys aren't a lap down just yet. It's just that the leaders have gone through the timing beacon before those guys have. The thing about Florian Strauss, this has just been a season of nightmares for him, as he just cannot get a good start to any of his races, it seems like.
Yep, well, we're seeing the two precision drivers load the tail, and Kilov has actually either he's allowed Rietveld to close, or he's lost a little bit of time on this lap and been a bit too ragged. And the championship leader is now right onto the back of his teammate once again. And Godeka, I feel, might come under attack from Davis pretty soon, because that THR machine's looking pretty racy. He got an absolutely cracker of a start, and he managed to almost take the lead down towards turn 1, as Rietveld is definitely charging. Fastest lap of the race on lap number 3, 118.504, as they head down through the Senna S and into the down Wakefield Avenue and into the right-hander here.
What's good for precision, it seems like Riefeld's car, even though there is a little bit of cosmetic damage, it looks like that chassis is still okay, no suspension trouble, so Rietveld looks like he's still going to be able to challenge for this lead. The thing about Toby Davis, and I should have said this before we started, but he was actually my pick to win this race, so he's got to get around Godeka very quickly here, because Toby Davis has the advantage when it comes to tire conservation on Rietveld, and maybe even Kilov, but if he does not get around Godeka, I mean, if he cannot get maintain a reasonable gap between precision cars, the precision, they're going to check out with this race here.
Looking right down to the brakes, and Rietveld closes as Kilov was squirming all over the place. These V8 Supercars are an absolute chore to try and get stopped into a corner, as we're seeing right here. Rietveld is definitely not letting his teammate Kilov get away behind him. The gap between the leader Kilov and third place Robert Godeka is 1.6 seconds, with Davis a further 6/10 back, as Rietveld kicks up a bit of dust on the braking zone for the final hairpin and back onto the straight. Precision still hold this race then as they head on to lap 5 for 63. Of course, we said we're expecting the pit winner to open and the first stoppers to make their first tyre change roughly around lap 21, and expecting to split into 3 equal stints as Rietvald's getting very close. He's giving Kilov a lot of hurry up here down towards turn 4. Will he pass? He's looking up the inside down towards the right-hander, and he's through. Rietveld takes the place and grabs the lead once more. The pole sitter and championship leader heads the field once more at Adelaide.
That was a great move there from Rietveld, and obviously his teammate gave him the respect, gave him some room, did not contest that to a tremendous degree, and Rietveld is now back into the leader's race. And yeah, this is just good respect from the two drivers. I was wondering how Precision were going to sort this out, because it's very hard to make a clean overtake around this track, but those guys have seemed to have done it to perfection even. So looks already you've seen Rietveld with a slight gap there to the Kilov, so Riefeld's now going to try to check out in this race like he did at Simmons Plains. And here we have Toby Davis trying to get to Godeka, and now I'm very curious that Godeka has been able to hold off Davis. Seems like Davis has not even been close enough to have a good attack, and it looks like Florian Strauss, 18.4, fastest lap of the race, and I was actually checking in on Strauss. Looks like he did not lose his front clip. I guess maybe it's just a graphical thing we're picking up on the broadcast, but in-game itself looks like Florian's car is very healthy, and obviously that time right there just proves it, and we're now riding on board here with Rietveld as he takes the field to the stripe.
So into the start of lap 6 then, and Rietveld then leads them once more past the pits, and a little ragged through the centre chicane, but he holds on to the lead for the moment. And Keelov is second. Godeka is just ahead of Davis and trying to find a way through past the fellow Holden driver, and it's Holden's in the first 4 places, in fact the first 5, first 6 places in fact, because the first 4 that I can see in the standings is in fact Eric Tveit for Ice Cold back in 7th place. So at the moment it's Holden's currently leading first to 6th. They head onto the back straight for the 6th once again, with Davis just a little bit as they head down towards the race. And Strana apparently has had a spin, so Strana is now down to 23rd, and maybe if we're quick enough we can maybe try and catch that. So let's see if we can have a look.
Yeah, and a quick amendment to the Florian Strauss bit earlier. It looks like he has pitted, but he did not fall a lap down, so it looks like he went in to replace that front clip that was taken off him in that first corner incident. But Florian Strauss, he's now 58 seconds behind the leader, so it looks like he's got a lot of work to do if he wants to salvage any points in this race. And there's Strana, massive damage to that car. Looks like he even cut a tire in his spin there. So, and see, that's the thing, Scott. When you spin it on this track, there's no runoff. So if you spin, if you lose control, you're going to take damage because you're going to hit that wall. And so Strana, he's got a lot. Looks like he's going to get that car into the pits. They have to do a massive work on that thing to get it back out there and running.
It looks to me also, I think just behind him, it looks to me Lee Palmer's suffering as well. It looks like he's lost his front bumper. So that's, the race is kind of starting to fall apart for Ice Cold Racing. It's only 7 laps old because 2 of their cars are struggling. And there's Florian Strauss a lap down, but he's just got past Matt Richards for 27th place. As Richards gets extremely sideways through turn 8. He's so lucky not to lose that. As back to the front, and the Precision boys are starting to run away with it. Keelov a little sideways on the exit as they head down the back straight here. What I'm interested in here is looking at this, the battle of 3rd and 4th between Godeka and Davis. Looking back now from Godeka's car as there's Davey Davis lurking large behind him, and also a guy to consider is Eunice Rivio, 5th place there as they head down towards it, and THR trying to move as Davis now breaks himself.
Ooh.
That was a huge move, and Davis really eager on the brakes. He's lost the place now to teammate Rivio in the THR Green machine, and he will slot in behind and in front. Oh, and Rivio goes straight on. Rivio goes straight on.
Spun it. Wow.
Oh, and I think that was someone's clip. Let's look at a replay of that, because that looked to me well, there's Davis going straight on. You can see that just there.
I think Rivio's just going to go straight off here. It looks like he's going to catch this curb and just lose control of his car.
Let's take a look here, and he just goes straight over the curb. The rear wheels just touch the grass, and he just reverses, and I think he was lucky not to be clipped there by Adrian Holm. And Rasmus Salo also very lucky too.
That curb there, that orange curb on the outside of that corner, that's a very tricky curb there, because if you actually go too far over, it will catch the car out. You're riding on the bottom of the car, you lose your right wheel, so to speak, and then it looks like that's what happened to Eunice Rivio, as he just completely kept the car straight and then spun it as he got on the power. Terrible mistake by 2 of the THR cars, and now there's going to be a tall order now to catch these precision machines there with a 3-second gap, almost a 4-second gap to first place.
We're looking back now from the second of the THR orange machine, Jesper Tolborg, second in the championship, and being chased here by the Ice Cold Racing machine of Eric Tveit, the young Norwegian who has been absolutely rapid. He won a race in the World Touring Masters last year, I believe it was at the Salzburg Ring. Absolutely fantastic performance from here from this young Norwegian. I believe he's about 14, 15 years old, so it's incredible just how skilled he is to be running up in the top 6 and challenging the most winningest driver in terms of championships in TPS, Jesper Tolborg. 5 championships to his name. I got that right this time, because last time I said he had 6, so kind of over-crediting Tolborg there just for a moment. But heading on to the pit straight once again to start lap 9 of 63, and the race, the top 6 just starting to settle down a little bit. As you mentioned, Precision cars are just starting to edge away. They've got about a half a second gap to each other, and you see them, they're just in the back, just in the foreground in the distance. Now we're still looking at Rietveld, Tolborg, who's been given all sorts of headaches by Eric Tveit there. And Tveit basically is, as you said, the highest running of the Fords. The next highest running car, I believe, is actually Rasmus Salo behind him in 7th, but that gap already is extended to some 6 seconds between Tveit in 6th and Rasmus Salo in 7th. So already, as early on as lap 9, we've got a breakaway pack here of about 6 cars. So look, already it looks as though that we have our contenders for the lead and for the win and for the podium places. One that I didn't expect to be in there, and no disrespect to him at all, is Robert Godeka. Fantastic start from him after a start in the top 10. As Godeka goes slightly wide here, and Tut Davis is giving a little bit of pressure as they head out for the turn 9 hairpin.
Godeka
Godeka's doing a fantastic job so far.
Yeah, he's been absolutely brilliant. You know, I think he qualified around 8th or 9th position, just shot up to 3rd. I thought he was going to be quickly overtaken there, but he's done tremendous to hold off Toby Davis around this circuit. And it looks like he's going to be a legitimate contender to finish on that podium, or at least finish within the top 5. But it looks like now Toby Davis is right on the back of Godeka. And look, Toby Davis knows he's got to get this move done, because he's actually taken 4/10 off the precision duo of Rietveld and Kielhoff over the past laps, because that gap was 3.8 seconds, now down to 3.4. If Toby Davis can get clear of Godeka, I think he can do some real damage on those precision cars. And remember, we saw this at Simmons Plains where the precision drivers saw up to a huge gap, but Toby Davis was able to take seconds off those guys once we got closer and closer to the pit window, because obviously Toby Davis' tire conservation was better. But look through sector 1 now, it looks like Toby Davis has lost time, and it looks like he's got to get around Godeka, because now it looks like Godeka is severely holding up Davis. So you're going to see a move here within the next half a lap. And Toby Davis, look, he's going to have the runner off of this corner, going into the hairpin. Can he pull down the inside? He looks like he's going to think better of it. Godeka defends on the inside. Davis around the outside. That's not going to do it. Godeka looks like he's going to hold that position and hold off Toby Davis in that THR machine.
Davis squirming all over the back, and he's forced Godeka wide. Godeka gets sideways off the exit of turn. Levis may begin with shots, but Godeka somehow holds on. That Opel does not want to give up the place, but Davis is squirming and back up the inside into the final corner. They're side by side, they're almost touching. Tolborg looks on, Godeka gets sideways, they'll go side by side again, down the pit straight, down towards the centre S again for the 11th time. Godeka is fending off everything Davis is throwing at him, and I'm pretty sure that all Tolborg is doing is watching and waiting for any sudden mistake these two will make.
This is tremendous defending by Godeka. Absolutely brilliant drive by both parties. Very clean, very respectful. But this is absolutely killing Toby's race, because now that gap is 4.4 seconds. Remember, a lap ago is 3.4, so he's lost a second sitting behind Godeka. He's got to make a move. THR has got to stress to Toby Davis how critical it is for him to get around this no-limit machine of Robert Godeka. Godeka gets sideways. Davis, slight contact, but that's not going to do it. Toby Davis does not get the run off that corner, out of that high curve the cars have to go over. So Toby Davis, we're in the exact same position we were in a lap ago with him. Can he get the run through this fast right-hander and now get to Godeka? The answer is going to be no, and Godeka continues to hold up the THR duo of Thalberg and Davis, the duo that is leading the championship.
Rather slippery rear end on that Holden there that Robert Godeka is carrying right now, as he somehow holds on to 3rd place. Seems to be that he has immense car control, because that thing is just sliding around like nothing, like he's on sheet ice. And amazingly, he's keeping 3rd place ahead of these two, and THR must be having all sorts of headaches, especially Toby Davis.
Yeah.
You can see, well, you can't even see them anymore. The two precision cars driving off into the distance. Already the gap between Davis and Jeffrey Rietveld in the lead is 4 seconds. As Davis tires a little bit there through the centre chicane. I wonder if that caused any damage there, because that could possibly, I think, may have been a bit risky there. I'm not sure if that maybe caused too much damage. And already they're coming up to back markers here, so this could be pretty key. Of course, trying to pass back markers on a street circuit, of course, it's such a difficult task, let alone just overtaking on this circuit. But these guys, I'm pretty sure, are sensible enough to get out of the way pretty soon. But again, they're all over the curves on the exit of turn 7, down towards treacherous turn 8. A very narrow run. As you see the two precision cars in the distance, pulling away in the lead. The gap between them is 4/10 of a second. They fly through there. Godeka, Davis, Tolborg just behind as well. 3rd, 4th and 5th all together. And they've also broken away slightly from Eric Tveit. The gap is now about 3 seconds or so. So Tveit's starting to slip away in the middle part of this first stint. I wonder possibly if he started to overcook his tyres a little bit.
You notice here, remember, Toby Davis had a bit of a moment there in that first corner of this lap, and he fell about a second behind Godeka, but look, he's right back on the rear bumper of Godeka with not even finishing the entire lap, so it just shows how much quicker that THR machine is compared to this no-limit car. The only issue is that Toby Davis can't seem to work out a place to get his car around Godeka's no-limit machine, and if he can't do that within the next 2 laps, I think his race is pretty much over at this point, because the precision cars, it's going to be tremendously tough for him to cut that 4-second gap down with only about 10 laps in play here before we get to this first pit window. So this is a very critical time for Toby Davis. He's got to make this move happen, Scott. If he doesn't do it now, then his race is pretty much over.
And of course, this is also going to be killing Thalborg as well, because he's watching this thinking, well, if Davis can't get past Godeker, what chance do I stand? Well, maybe I'll have to do it for him, but this is possibly the best chance Davis has had all race so far. He's right in the slipstream. Will he be able to get on the inside of turn it? A very daring pass if he can make it, but he thinks better of it for this time round. He knew that a pass into that corner would be absolutely almost certain death. I would have thought, well, probably not that drastic, but obviously
it's
you know what I
suicide.
mean.
You are exactly right.
Suicide.
It's suicide to try to make the move around that corner.
That's exactly the road I was looking for. Thank you for that, Danny. And again, Godeker runs a little deep,
Ooh.
gets it sideways. Davis pulling alongside. Can he finally make it stick? Down towards the hairpin, but again, Godeker's has got it. Davis goes around
Brilliant
the outside,
move.
and he's into third, and Talbot's up the inside too to capitalise on it. And he's maybe going to get alongside on the exit. They're scrabbling for traction, but I think Talbot's just about to manage it. Down the pit straight, Talbot has his nose in front. Will he force Godeker out into the center chicane? Yes, he does. Godeker has to yield. What a fantastic pass from just for Talbot, but even more fantastic, Toby Davis capitalising on the mistake and around the outside. Finally, he is free of the No Limit Motorsports hold, and he can now start the chase after those Precision Motorsports cars. And as you said, Danny, that move was absolutely crucial.
Yes, that was tremendous to Toby Davis's race life. So now Toby Davis, and I want to point out what Talbot did just there. Talbot held back, waited for his teammate to make the move, and once he did, Talbot was an absolute killer. He got through when he had to have it on Godeker. So now we have THR third and fourth. The thing is, Precision have countered THR's move by sending Keeloff into the lead to now get around his teammate rFactor. So now it's going to be can Toby Davis pull down Keeloff instead of rFactor, and that gap is about a little under 4 seconds. So Toby Davis already making progress on these Precision cars. He's got about 7 laps and change to make this happen, to bring that gap down to as low as he can before he starts getting into the change those tires on lap 21 or thereabout.
We're just seeing a replay there quickly of the moves that both Davis and Talbot made as they headed through final couple of corners, and now back onto the pit straight. And let's see now exactly what Toby Davis can do now he's in clear air. The gap between Keeloff and rFactor, in fact, there's been a change in fact. Now we didn't spot that because Keeloff has got back past rFactor. Now apologies, but we're looking at the replays. Now I think possibly someone's communicated to me on the TeamSpeak that something's happened to them. There's a battle for sixth going on, but I didn't see the swap between Keeloff and rFactor.
Well,
that's something we missed.
Just when I think Toby was getting around Godeker, it looked like Keeloff got around rFactor for that lead, and so it looks like I'm not sure if it was Team Wars or if Keeloff just made the move, but remember, Keeloff was right behind rFactor for the past 8 laps or so, so it seemed like maybe Keeloff was the faster driver of those two cars, but Toby Davis on an 18.5 pace at the moment, and meanwhile Keeloff is on, last lap was a 19.2, so maybe Keeloff's starting to struggle with those tires, and the lap before that was a 19.8. So I'm not sure really what exactly is going on with those Precision cars, but they have to pick it up because Toby Davis is absolutely flying.
I think rFactor's struggling. I think rFactor's really having some problem with his tyres. Either that or he's made some contact somewhere, because look at the rate that the two THR cars, as you said, of Davis and Talbot are closing. Either rFactor has a problem or he's taken too much out of those tyres. We'll have to wait and see, because look at the opportunity Toby Davis has here. We thought his race was all over. It's only just beginning. Down the pit straight towards the centre straight they go then. Davis with a snip at second now. He was almost lost out in corners, but now his race is starting to come back alive here. Dramatic scenes then, and we're only coming towards the end of the first of the race here in Adelaide.
Remember, this has huge championship implications, not only in the Constructors' Championship with THR Precision, but in the Drivers' title as well, because we're seeing Jasper Talbot sitting there in 4th position, only 13 points behind rFactor in first, who rFactor, of course, is leading the championship. So rFactor has to fight tooth and nail to keep these THR cars behind him as long as possible, to let his teammate Simon Keeloff extend the gap to Davis, because now this race is slowly falling back to THR. With about 5 to 6 laps before that pit window, this gives THR a chance to now use their tire conservation to take the advantage over Precision and perhaps take control of this race.
He's up the inside. Davis has a chance. Great run out of turn 8, and Talbot almost tags the rear of rFactor's car. Davis put rFactor out of shape on the exit of turn 7, gave him a nudge in the rear that dented the rear bumper. But what a fantastic run that Toby Davis got into the hairpin. He managed to stuck up the inside. There was nothing rFactor could do, and Davis is up to second. Now the question is, he's dispatched to one Precision car. Has he got enough pace left in those tyres in this first stint to catch and pass Keeloff? If not now, maybe he has a chance now to pull away and have a chance of possibly grabbing victory later on in this race.
It seems like Keeloff has... Whoa, he's got damage on that car. I think you're right, Scott. He's all over the place. Or maybe it's more the tires, I guess, are just completely abandoning rFactor at this point. Because, remember, rFactor had this trouble the past 2 races, and even a little bit at Simmons Plains where his car just goes away from him. And, oh, look at this, Scott. We're seeing guys going to the pit. Now, I was told that if you see guys try a 3-stop strategy, the time to do it was lap 15, lap 7. So it looks like we have quite a few cars going in. Tonight, we have the TVG Motorsport car, and the one other guy, the car just went into the pits, are now on this 3-stop strategy. So that's going to be interesting. Maybe the 3-stop is the way to go, because we're seeing the front runners starting to fall off now here as they get deeper in their runs with these these sprint tires.
Eric Spartan exits the pits. He's just been passed for 6th by Rasmus Salo. So obviously that was a sign that he needs to come in and slap on some fresh rubber. And the Ice Cold team have done just that, and he's back out, and he's managed to slot in, looking down the order, he's back out in 17th, so he is now up there at the moment, and he's ahead of Adrian Holm in 18th. Other pit calls were also, of course, Robert Godeker. Now, Godeker managed to get himself back out, looking down the order. Godeker is back out in 15th, so he's 2 places ahead of the Ford here, and we'll see exactly how, and if the 3-stop strategy works for the young Norwegian.
Yeah, and Talbert has gotten around rFactor, the championship leader, so now Talbert is in 3rd place, THR Singh 2nd and 3rd, and now this race, like I said, it's coming back to him. Toby Davis was about 3/10 clear of Simon Keeloff, or 4/10 clear that last lap, and now he's taking that gap down to 4.3 seconds. That gap was up to 5.1, so now Toby Davis, can he get more time out of or Keeloff before they get to the pit window, the 2-stop pit window in the next 2 to 3 laps? This is going to be very interesting to see now how Toby Davis can ring that THR machine to get closer to Keeloff, who leads this race.
I think something, as you said, is seriously wrong with Jeffrey Rufal's car, because look already, of course, again, at the gap that Talbot's pulled since he passed I've forgotten his nationality, the Dutchman. That's rather unfortunate. I think that something is that he must have sustained some damage, maybe with contact with the wall somewhere, possibly a suspension failure or something, or maybe something to do with the diff, maybe, or I can't tell exactly what the problem is, but it really is a shame that he is struggling right now. As you said, major championship implications for the championship leader. Yeah,
I'm watching rFactor. He's going into the pits now, and I've been watching the past that. That car is all over the place. It's rocking back and forth on the suspension. So I think you're right, Scott. There might be some damage there. He's been in the 120 range. Ran a 123 last lap. So yeah, that car is certainly not healthy at this point. As we're seeing more cars going to the garage. I think that's another. That might be Ethan Bass there, who of course is a lap down. So Jeffrey rFactor into the pits. Remember, this is very early for a 2-stop strategy. He's going to have to make this second stint really last if rFactor's going to make this 2-stop strategy work.
It may have been a case that possibly he maybe just thought the damage was a bit too much and he had to try and get on with that one. Or maybe, of course, it could have been a case that whatever problem he had, it maybe even destroyed his tyres a little bit, and possibly that's the reason why he dropped off so much. So now he's got a set of fresh rubber, and we'll have to keep track of his lap times, exactly how this race plays out for him. Now he's managed to get out now behind Robert Godeker in 11th, so he is now out back in 12th and ahead of Paul Crawford. So this should be intriguing to see exactly how this goes on. But the championship leader is we're going to have to keep an eye on him very closely, because he is now, so far, pit stops haven't shaken out much yet, because we've got a mixture of 2- and 3-stop strategies. But one to watch definitely is this man here, Jeffrey Rufal. How exactly is this car faring? Will it fare any better on new tyres? Now back at the front, I've noticed the gap has come down again by another half a second. So Davis is setting an absolutely electric pace in the THR machine. There he is in the background, the grey and orange THR Holden, and he's closing in now on this yellow, black and white Holden here of Simon Keeloff. He's getting caught up in traffic behind.
Oh, this is no good. This is no good at all. He's got to get around him as fast as possible, because yes, Scott, Toby Davis is absolutely flying. Oh no, that contact? Wow, that's like
I think it was a little bit of contact. I think possibly that was contact with Julio Ornelas in the Holden there, just ahead of Ben Crooks. He's fighting, those two are fighting over 21st. That is for position. And Keeloff really did not want to become embroiled in that battle, especially not for too long. As behind we've got Crooks just moving, I think, up the inside of Ornelas. Has he got a chance to go through? We'll look back. Yes, he has. So Ben Crooks moves up to 21st. Julio Ornelas down to 22nd. We've got Bruno Sousa Ferrari, you see there on our timings in the pits for a stop. And we've had 3 cars retire from the race already. We've had Ivan Navarro was our latest retirement. Before that, Matt Richards. I did actually notice he was stopped on the inside of the center chicane behind the tyres, and that was a problem as Kilov there is really starting to burn those tyres up even further. And Lee Palmer's also out of the race, so Ice Cold Racing are down to one car already in this field after some problems as Kilov slides his way through the center S. And let's see what the gap is this time, right? It's 2.6. So that run through traffic has definitely compromised Kilov somehow, because Davis is absolutely flying right at this point in the race, and seems to be he's got plenty of life left in his tyres. I wonder possibly if these two might even go slightly longer than lap 21, because effectively if they're running exactly equal stints, they're going to have to be pitting this time around. But if they feel they've got enough left life in that rubber, possibly they might just go a couple of laps longer. Although if Kilov slides around that much, they're not going to last that too much longer.
I'm pretty sure Toby Davis is going to go a little bit longer on this stint, because we saw this again at Simmons Plains. Toby Davis, he went at 18.9 only a few laps ago, and guys were struggling to run that at the start of the race. So Toby Davis, those tires haven't drained that much at all. That gap down to 1.8 seconds. Toby Davis, I think he's got no reason to pit early. Meanwhile, Kilov, I think you're right, Scott. He's sliding around a little too much. That last lap was a 1:20.6. I know he was held up by traffic a little bit, but that's simply not going to cut it. He needs to get that precision machine into the garage for a fresh set of tires. But no, he's going to go long, and Toby Davis is going to stay out as well. So it's going to be those guys heads up for the lead of this race.
Quickly looking at the battle for fourth here. This is look at Eunice Riviere, the THR green machine. He is currently chasing after. Apologies, I thought it was a Ford. It's actually a Holden that Rasmus Salo is driving. So he is now in for fourth and fifth, and yet Talborg's actually in the pits in front, as is also Rasmus Salo. There's a huge pit stack up in pit lane here. This is quite intriguing, because also it looks to me now is that Florian Strauss?
That is Strauss.
It is Strauss in the pit lane. So Strauss is pitting once more. So that's intriguing. Strauss, looking back at his progress up to the field, is up to 23rd. So we're a third of the way through this race here, this fourth round of the 2013 TouringProSeries Virtual V8 Supercar Series here at Adelaide, backed by GamePod.co.uk. And it's intriguing. Strauss hasn't made too much time up, but of course he has had some rather real problems in the first opening stint of this race. But now he's made another switch to the set of tyres. Talbot seems as though he's playing the equal stints to perfection here.
Yeah, if we guys are doing the fight for the lead here, Scott, Toby Davis has now caught Kilov. He's right there on the back of him. It's only a matter of time now for Toby Davis goes through, because Kilov is all over the place. And Toby Davis, I must admit, I am tremendously surprised by how quick he's been as opposed to these precision cars on this race front. Toby Davis is on another level at this point. It's only a matter of time.
And they're both in pits together.
Ooh.
And he gives him a nudge as well. Surely he's not going to overtake him. They're going to go side by side down the pit lane. This is incredible. So not only are they taking the battle to the pits, there's also Adrian Holm behind who's pitting too. But look at this. How's this going to shape out? Who's going to get stopped to their marks first? Oh, that's very close, and Kilov has to stop. That's possibly. Has that compromised Davis a little bit? Has that lost him time? Because Kilov now is going to be a race of the pit crews here. It's going to be precision versus THR. Now what is going to happen between the two of them? We'll keep alternating very quickly. Kilov is away. And Davis is still stationary. They're coming down the pit lane.
Oh, it's going to be
Where's
tight.
Kilov? There's Kilov, and Davis gets out, and he's just back again. So it's pretty much as equal as it was as they came in. So Kilov retains the lead for the moment. In fact, they still come out still in the lead, which is impressive. And Talborg's back up to third. Right, Rietveld is back up to fourth, and he's now some 3.5 seconds back behind the second THR machine. But look, there in fact is Talborg, right behind the pair for the lead.
I was just about to point that out, Scott. Remember, the gap for Talberg to the Kilov boys pit was about 8 seconds. So that just kind of shows the value of a well-timed undercut by Talberg, who's now only down 1.2 seconds to Kilov, and now is going to be with a reasonable shout to now fight for the lead of this race. Toby Davis, though, remember at Simmons Plains, his pit crew, the THR pit crew, let him down, gave him a 4-second longer stop than the precision cars, which cost Toby Davis perhaps the race win. But today it looks like it's right status quo with the precision cars, but at the end of the day it looks like he didn't get out in front, and it's actually, I think, lost a little time to the precision cars. But now he's got to spin off his teammate with Jasper Talberg, who's got those tires nice and heated up. And who is that? There's Florian Strauss. Oh no, that's not going to be any good for THR and Toby Davis, because Florian Strauss is very quick in his own right, is not going to want to get overtaken or just lapped by these THR cars, who could foreseeably hold Strauss up at the start of the stint.
Well, Strauss is in 21st at the moment, and of course a lap down, and of course the next few cars he's got to try and pass it. Jonathan Osserklint in 20th, and Kevin Enderman in 19th, and Bruno Salsa Ferreira ahead in 18th, and Strauss does in fact let the leaders through. He lets Keelov and then Davis through. I'm pretty sure he'll be just as obliging to Talborg. Yes, he does. And a few more cars going past him. And also he's let Rebel through too. So the top four are only separated right now on track by 4.3 seconds. So we really do have a race in our hands. And it is now becoming another fight. It's a fight that's effectively being continued from the Thomas Leclerc Clear series, because it's THR Orange versus Precision all over again. And remember, if anyone watched the Tox broadcast from Thruxton back on Wednesday this past week, you'll know that these two, Keelov and Davis, had a fantastic last lap scrap, which ended up with Davis just somehow taking the lead down the back straight into the final corner and on the grass, and then getting massively sideways after being just lightly nudged by Keelov, not by purpose, I don't believe, on the angle we saw, and then eventually holding on. Oh, we've got a car in the wall.
One of the optimum cars, yeah.
Is that also clearance? I possibly maybe. Is that also clearance? Well, let me have a look on my screen. It is also clearance. Right. So what we'll do then, if we can quickly nab him, we'll try and have a look and see exactly what's happening. He's heading into the pits as Keelov sets the fastest lap of the race then. So that's now pretty intriguing to see how that's going to play out. There's also clearance. Right. Here's the replay then.
Looks like he's just going to lose on his own here.
So it's happening here. He's got a wheel on the curve into the corner. He just understeers into the tyre barrier. And that's possible. It looks like it's thrown off the front splitter of that car. And oh, how close was that? And Keelov clips the spoiler, and so does Talborg. So I don't think that that clipping that's going to cause too much damage, but I think that possibly that's definitely going to have been something that that's going to force Keelov to think again in terms of what's going on. Oscar Klintz now is in the pits, and I'm sure that's getting his damage repaired. He's going to be there for a long time stationary. But back at the front, we're coming up towards lap 25, and watching Keelov just drift it into the turn 9 hairpin. I'm pretty sure these guys, the way they drift them, they want a career in D1 Grand Prix drifting in Japan rather than Virtual V8 Supercars, the way they slide these things around. It's fantastic to watch. As Keelov again has the lead, but looking at the gap now, let's see what it's looking at. Well, Keelov set the fastest lap of the race last time round. He's now got a gap of 1.7 seconds at the last split. Across the line they come then. So how is he looking on fresh tyres? Another fastest lap, 1:18.199. So Keelov's currently the pace setter, and so far from what I can see, Davis doesn't seem to have just enough of a response to prevent Keelov from pulling away here.
This is exactly, I think Toby Davis, he's saying exactly what he wants to see right now, Scott, because the thing is, this is what Precision did to start off the first stint, and they blew their tires up. I mean, Toby Davis is just going to take it nice and easy, and quite frankly, if Keelov doesn't get something like a 5 to 6 second gap on Toby, Toby's going to be able to ease up to him once Keelov's tires run off. And you just saw Keelov sliding around the hairpin. That's certainly not going to do his tires any good if he cannot get a deep run into this second stint. Toby Davis, as far as I'm concerned, is the effective leader of this race, because he's just so good with the tire conservation that Keelov has to try something different as opposed to his first stint. Otherwise, Toby Davis and THR this race is firmly in their grasp.
I'm also wondering possibly there's a little bit of clever tactics here running by Toby Davis. I wonder possibly he's just allowing Keelov to. He's not pushing too hard to be right on the back of him, but at the same time he's not falling too far away from him to allow Keelov to have the advantage. I wonder possibly he's just forcing Keelov just to up his pace a little bit more than he'd like to, and that may possibly force Keelov once again just to burn his tyres up a bit more than Davis allows himself to, because Davis seems to be the smoother of the two drivers and the one that is able to make his tyres last the longest. And possibly I think he may be playing a game here with Keelov, possibly allowing him to kind of want his time to more. So by the time they come together for the end of the second stint, Davis is back in there, and again he's not too far, about I'd say 1.5 to 2 seconds away, depending on how you look at the splits. So I think, as you said, I have to agree. If Keelov just keeps on pushing like this and allows himself to burn up that rubber at the rate that he's doing, but we believe he's doing, then this is not going to put him in good stead near the end of the second stint.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Scott. Toby Davis is just going to try to keep Keelov in check, and Keelov feels the pressure. Keelov is firmly aware that Toby Davis took some 5 seconds out of him at the end of that second stint. So Keelov, I think he's running scared at this point, trying to get the biggest gap as possible to Toby Davis, and he's burning his tires out doing it. We're already seeing that gap now down to 1.5 seconds, so it looks like Keelov's charge to get that gap up to 1.9 as it was only a few corners ago, or half a lap ago, is now already failing him. So maybe Toby Davis is really going to have a run at Kiel-Off a little earlier than he did in that first stint. We're seeing down in the field, Robert Godica continues to hold on to 5th position for No Limit Racing. I'm not sure where his teammate is, Michael Muller. I think Michael is either out absent for this race today or is in Division 2, as we're seeing the fight between, I believe this is Rasmus Salo and Adrian Holm. Adrian Holm, remember, he qualified 12th, is now up to 8th, has been inside the top 10 the whole race, so Adrian Holm quietly putting together another solid result for his for Ice Cold Racing, Scott.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, Holm's not doing too bad. I mean, he's a man that's it's a fairly decent run. He's shown promise this season, but he's been involved in quite a few crashing incidents, and he always gets involved in another one.
Oh.
And he just avoids the back of Rasmus Salo there, a little too deep. And look at that, because now that's put him in the clutches of Eunice Ravio. Look at this. The THR Green Machine all over the back of the Swede here in the Ice Peak, and in the Ice Cold Racing Ford Falcon here, onto the back straight once again out of turn 7, towards that treacherous turn 8, and just seems to be that he's kind of. This is what we're seeing here, is that Holm is quick, and he's shown potential to be a race winner here, but in the Virtual V8 Supercars. And apologies if he isn't already, if I'm missing on a race victory he's already got. Holm, I think, just needs to get that consistency and kind of just get that kind of that kind of mindset that he needs to go flat out all the time, because it looks to be that causing the incident. And he had a rather unfortunate run. I believe it was last race when he probably have to correct me on this one, Daniel. I'm pretty sure he's involved in 2 incidents in races.
He was, yeah. You make a great point about Holm. Yeah, you make a great point about him, because he's got a pole position here already this season, has had tremendous pace, top 5 pace, podium pace even. The thing about him is that he's sitting 11th in the standings because simply too many mistakes, too many DNFs, and Holm has kind of, fouled up his season a little bit. You're looking at a top 5 driver in this championship right now, sitting there in 11th in the points table because, like you said, Scott, too many mistakes, too much inconsistency. If Holm can just find a way to get that quality pace transferred to his race pace over long distances and just iron out the mistakes, you're looking at a guy that could potentially finish on podium at the end of the season, given the pace we've seen from Holm and the Ice Cold racing crew at the start of this championship.
Well, if there's any circuit that's going to force you to try and up your game and drive properly without any mistakes, it's certainly going to be Adelaide. I'm pretty sure the only other one's going to be Bathurst, so we'll get our season finale later on. There he splashed up on the screen. Fastest lap of the race goes to Simon Kiel-Off. He still continues to lead this race as he starts lap 30. He's now 2.8 seconds ahead of Toby Davis, with Jesper Tarborg a further 1.7 back. And then we've got Jeffrey Reitveld in 4th, Robert Godica holding out 5th, Eric Tveitis in 6th, with Rasmus Salo 7th. Ahead of this battle here for 8th between Adrian Holm and Eunice Ravio in 9th. And then Matej Orban is rounding out the top 10. Looking back down the field, Kevin Brent is 11th. David Juntz is currently holding station in 12th. And also Darren Adams is 13th. And then we go to the first of a lap runners. Heinz Petzold down in 14th. Sergei Yashi in 15th. Ben Crooks in 16th in the Cancer Research UK liveried machine. And then we back the rest of Paul Crawford 17th. Then Bruno Sousa Ferreira. Florian Strauss is now up to 19th. He's made up 2 more positions since we last saw him. And he's ahead of Kevin Enderman and Lars Brugman. Eric Strana is still 22nd after his early race problems. Julio Ornelas is 23rd, ahead of Ossiclin, and then Ethan Bass and Kevin Angwin.
Hey, if we could actually pick up the battle for 10th and 11th between Matej Orban and Kevin Brent. Looks like Kevin's really trying to get around Matej. Matej, he was thrilled to get a top 10 result, I believe, last round at Simmons Plains. We'll see. Again, he's on great form here for DPG Motorsports. Let's see if he can hold off Kevin Brent to get this top 10 position. Remember, we still got, we're not even halfway through the race here, Scott, so still a lot of racing here to go, but it looks like Kevin Brent, once to get his run, tries to get around Matej Orban and get inside the top 10.
Well, Orbis doing a great job to hold on at the moment. We're looking all on board Kevin Brent, and that was rather close there as he just almost lost the back end of the THR Red Commodore. And they head down towards the final hairpin once again, and see Orban just running a tiny bit deep, but he manages to get it anchored up in time and back down the pit straight once again to start lap 31. Of course, they're not lapped just yet. These 2 cars are 2 places ahead of the next lap car. Of course, with David Junt is in 12th and Darren Adams 13th. So the first lap car in the order instead is Heinz Petzold in 14th. The South African doing a great job to at least hold it in the top 15. And Orban, I think, was a bit too much on the brakes there. Oh, he's hit the back of Orban. Orban sideways.
Oh, no,
Orban just about holding on. Kevin Brents almost wanted to get inside, literally inside Orban's Commodore there, but Orban was wise to that one and just put it on full opposite lock and managed just to hold on. Incredible feat of car control of one of these V8 Supercars. But I think Kevin Brents is starting to get a little impatient here. He wouldn't have braked later than he would have done and caused the incident if he wasn't.
That was a great save there by Matthew Orban. Really shows his experience driving these V8 Supercars, because that is not an easy thing we just saw Matthew Orban do, getting the car so sideways. I was almost sure he was around, but he did great to keep that car under control. And yeah, that's just a really nice drift there by Mr. Matthew Orban. He's going to be very happy. But it looks like Kevin Brents does take the position.
He has taken the position. We've missed that one.
It was all for that. It was all for 9 for Matthew Orban. It looks like Kevin Brents just a little too strong. It looks like down in this hairpin, looks like Kevin Brents got the run.
Ran deep over the curbs. And Kevin Brents says, thank you very much. I will take 10th place from you, sir. So, that is now Kevin Brents into the top 10. Now this means, of course, that THR have 5 cars into the... No, I believe that's correct. But 4 cars into the top 10, because we've got Davis second, Talbot in third. Then we have, of course, Junius Rivio in 8th. And now we have Kevin Brents in 10th. And
then the 5th car, David Yunt, there in 12th. So almost 10 cars inside the top 10, but not quite. Still, David Yunt just outside, sitting there in 12th. You know, the interesting thing up at the front, you have Simon Keeloff, Toby Davis. That gap is now 2.8 seconds. So Keeloff has extended it. But remember that second pit window is going to be from about lap 39 to lap 45. So it's going to be. Oh, and actually, we're seeing one of the precision cars, I believe, is rFactor is going into the pits already. So he looks like he's going to switch to that 3-stop strategy. I was just about to say that the second stop for a 3-stop strategy driver is around lap 32 to 35. And so we're also seeing Robert Godica, who made that pit stop on lap 17, also head into the pits. So I think it was also Eric Tveit who's sitting in 4th, who is also on a 3-stop strategy, but he continues to run. So I expect Tveit also to come in within the next lap or two. Because remember, of course, that these guys are going on 3 stops. They have to get in now with only about 31 laps left in play.
Both exits from his stop, decent stop of 10.6 seconds. Godica's No Limit Motorsport crew was actually about 0.8 of a second quicker, so fantastic stuff from from the Godica's pit crew there. And Revolt's rejoined in 8th, ahead of Kevin Brents there in 9th, who has already pulled out a substantial gap so far to Matej Orban, who he recently passed up at the turn 9 hairpin after a mistake from Orban himself. And now Revolt's got to get these tyres up to temperature. And of course, with these things being so powerful and rear-wheel drive and having also a LOX differential as well, the one crucial thing is, of course, going to be what goes on between... Oh, was that car on the wall in the background? I think it was. That was that, I think.
Was that
Lars Brugman? Was it Lars? Because I'm sort of with a nice cold racing car, and oh, in fact, we've got a spinner here. Now, who's that? Now, someone spun up at this corner here. I need to see exactly who it is, because someone is struggling out on track. Apologies for flicking through all the cars here, and there it is, and it is Lars Brugman. I knew that. I saw there was a car in the pit, and that.
Yeah, for Optimum, yeah. It looks like he actually just hits this. We've seen this corner claim so many drivers in the real V8 Supercars, because you just get a little wide. You're going so quick through this corner that you're going to have massive suspension.
And look at that.
Yeah.
And, and that was Strana going up the inside, forcing Brugman into the wall, and that was actually in front of Rietveld and Brents. Brugman then loses it completely into the turn 9 hairpin, and almost backs it into the wall. I think it must be he did back into it all. Almost collected there by another car as well.
That was huge contact there, Scott. Completely ruined that car.
And Optimum Sim Racing, of course, I think are down to 1 effort, because I'm pretty sure, unless he's still going, because he's still showing 24th on the screen. Let's see where he is. In fact, he's spun again. So he's definitely struggling out there, and it wouldn't surprise me if he has to call it quits soon, but he doesn't want to do that. Doesn't feel like he wants to do that just yet.
He might be
now
close
trying to make it back to the pits.
Yeah, he might be close enough to the pits, Scott, to get this car around into the garage. But I mean, usually, I would think you would pull out after that, because that car is completely destroyed at this point. Suspension's gone, tires are cut down, and he's lost a fair bit of aero in that car. He's going to be in the pits for quite a while. Might actually have to make multiple pit stops to repair that car. So not a good afternoon here for Lars Brugman.
Well, that's rather unfortunate. But meanwhile, the leaders are going. Is that going past now? In fact, no. That's in fact Rietfeld going past. Who actually sets the fastest lap of the race there. First man into the 117s in this race so far, 117.9, and actually compared to Kilov's fastest lap, 119.066. He's lapping just over a second quicker than his teammate at the moment in 8th position. This is going to be key here, is exactly how many places he makes up, because Rietveld's absolutely flying here. He's only a second behind. In fact, now it's only half a second. In fact, this is pretty intriguing. We're going to quickly go to what's going on here. There's the leaders: 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Ah, here we go. Rietfeld absolutely on fire in this third stint on these fresh tyres. Up the inside of Holm, we saw what happened earlier on with Brugman and Strada. Into turn, will he make the pass? He gives Holm enough room, and they're both smart enough to get it stopped before the corner, and that is Rietfeld up 7th. And that's exactly pass should be going to turn 8, because Brugman just got unlucky through that corner, and Strada actually is now running in tandem here with his teammates and gets a little sideways on the exit of turn 9. But
now remember,
that was clean driving for both of them. Well done.
Yeah, around that corner, it was very good from not to having any type of contact. But remember, Rietveld's about 40 seconds off his teammate Kielov, who's leading the race. And remember, Rietfeld has to make another stop, so he's got to be absolutely on it. Meanwhile, up at the front, it looks like it's now game on. Toby Davis is really showing his true colors. He's down to 2.4 seconds on Kielov, who's again leading the race. And remember, this was the time around in the first stint where we saw Toby Davis really make up the time. He's got to get through this lap traffic again of Ben Crooks and one of the DPG cars in front of him. It looks like Matty Orban. They're going to make this. Ben Crooks made that very easy for Toby. He needs to get around similarly quickly through Matty Orban, because obviously he wants to get as much time away from Kielov as possible. In fact, I think he does make that happen, but it looks like Crooks then gets around Orban as well. Toby Davis, realistically, he needs to maybe actually perform an overtake here now on Kielov, because remember, Kielov is exceptionally strong to begin his stint. So in this final stint after the pit stop, Kielov is going to be very hard to pass if Toby Davis doesn't get this move done before this second and final pit stop.
Up for 5th here between Rasmus Salo and Eunice Rivio. The Octon Sim Racing Holden just holding on ahead of the THR Holden. THR Green Holden as they head down the pit straight. There I think is Jonathan Osserklint in the pits as we sweep past down the pit straight on lap 37. So we have now passed halfway, and the second round of stops I believe are going to be starting soon, I would have thought. We're going to quickly run down the order. So as you're looking at this battle for 5th then, it's Simon Kielov leading by 3.4 seconds from Toby Davis, with Jesper Talborg in the second THR Orange machine in 3rd. Eric Devite is 4th, but some 33 seconds now down the road from Kielov, our race leader. Rasmus Salo is holding on to 5th ahead of Eunice Rivio in 6th. Jeffrey Rietfeld is running pretty well in 7th place on his 3-stop strategy. Kevin Brent is just close behind, but not really, because he's now dropped about 8 or 9 seconds back now, about 7 in fact. 9th is Robert Godeka after a strong start in the beginning to hold up both the precision car, both the THR machines. Salo has a bit of a moment here trying to get past one of the Ice Cold Racing cars, and also I think that River's going to try and force his nose up the inside. Thought about a move, but he had to try and get past the Ice Cold Falcon first, and he did. Rest of the field as we go through. Godeka 9th, Adrian Holm rounds out the top 10, and actually the field's all been lapped up to Adrian Holm, because David jumped down to our last runner in the race, which is actually Jonathan Osserklint in 26th. They're all been lapped at least once, and also you can see in the background, just you can see there, Jeffrey Rietfeld absolutely charging right now, because he's now right on the back of this Ice Cold Racing car. He almost forces Rietfeld out into the braking zone for the centre chicane. That was pretty close, but what a pass that was! That was past Eric Tveit, and that was a fantastic overtake. We've got to see that again, because look at this. They're side by side. Just talk us through this, Danny, because this is a fantastic piece of racecraft from Rietfeld here.
Yeah, because you get into this first corner complex, and obviously you don't want to go too wide through there, but Rietfeld, he gets exactly the right line, forces Tveit to take the first part of that corner on the inside, and that's just masterful right there, because then he gets the run out of that corner, and he goes, thank you very much, Mr. Tveit. Remember, those guys are both on a 3-stop strategy, so their cars should be about equal, but Rietfeld's just too strong. But despite Rietfeld's progress, he's still 39 seconds behind his teammate, so it seems like maybe this traffic has held out Rietfeld too much, and maybe this 3-stop strategy is not going to come into fruition as the race develops here, Scott. but you know, it's still at the front. Toby Davis has lost time to Simon Keeloff. Now 4.3 seconds is the gap, so this is simply not going to be good enough for Davis if he wants to win this race. He's got to come on here and very quickly, Scott.
Absolutely. We're up to lap 39. Keeloff leads the race here. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with further coverage of round 4 of the Virtual V8 Supercars from Adelaide. Back in 2.
GamePod, the ultimate race rig for those serious about sim racing, puts you in the driver's seat with all the controls at your fingertips. Be number 1 on the road, in the race, in the game. GamePod, the choice of champions.
InsideSimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Actually had an incident here. This is what happened here, just coming down towards, and Riviere dives up the inside and just misjudges it, Danny, doesn't he?
Yeah, that corner is always tricky. Once the tires start going, if you get just a little bit late on the brakes, there's no saving it. You're just going to go straight off and straight into the wall, and unfortunately, that's happened to Riviere. Remember, I mean, going into this race, a lot of THR drivers were thinking Riviere was going to be their strongest pilot for the afternoon's race, but sadly that's not the case for Riviere as he pulls into the pits with massive suspension and aero damage on that car. It's simply not, this race has not gone how he's wanted to go. Remember, that's the second big mistake we've seen from Riviere, so he's got to find, like home, he's got to find a way to get more consistent in these cars, and that's actually home right in front of him in the pit, so both those guys in, and there's Tveit, who's also going in lap 41.
And also, second place, Toby Davis is in. This is his second stop, and Keeloff has managed to go around. Talborg is taking second place now, but Davis is the first of the front two then to crack, and the first two to have to make his second stop. And this is intriguing because both Keeloff and Davis actually pitted together, and I wonder if possibly Davis pitting was possibly a knee-jerk reaction to seeing Keeloff pitting at the same time. So this could have been pretty intriguing. An 11.7 second stop, so he's back out in third. And
this is actually, this is actually a very smart move from THR and Toby Davis, because remember we saw Talberg reduce an 8-second gap down to 1.2 seconds with a proper undercut. I'm pretty sure Keeloff and Precision, they have to get on the horn with their driver and make sure Keeloff gets in this lap, because he could absolutely lose control of this race if he holds off pitting too long here, because I mean, obviously 8 seconds we saw Talberg take out of him with a proper undercut. We'll see what Toby can do. I'm not sure if, wow, he's actually going to stay out of here, Scott. I did not expect that whatsoever. I thought he was going to be in. Now Toby Davis, maybe this race comes back to him, because I mean, before those stops, I think he was about 3.4 seconds behind Keeloff. He can certainly take that gap away from Keeloff with some very good laps with low fuel and fresh tires.
Most definitely. Second THR Orange Machine of Jesper Talborg is in for his tyre stop. So, and also remember what we're going to consider here is that yes, Davis is out and he's starting to get an undercut on these tyres. But remember, by the end of the race, whenever Keeloff's tyres comes in for his pit stop, his tyres will be younger than Davis's. So effectively, by the end of the race, Keeloff's tyres will be in better shape, which means that Davis is either going to have to be extremely careful on these tyres, or just hope that Keeloff runs into some trouble with some traffic, because he knows that effectively he's now going to have to be a race against time to make these tyres work properly. Talbot exits out now in third, just ahead of Jeffrey Wrightveld, so this is not working too bad for the championship leader, as the two championship rivals are now back on track together now. It's Talborg, the second place man in the championship, ahead of Wrightveld. I think was he a little wide on the exit of that turn 4 there. I thought he might have just glanced the wall on the exit, but I think he might be just okay for the moment, as Rasmus Salo is also pitting, as are a few more cars, and he makes it through. Now then, what we're going to have to watch out for as Salo gets away. Here he is. Keeloff's in then, so leader is into the race, into the pits. his second stop. Whereabouts is Toby Davis? So watch out for this now. Davis is already out of turn 8 and down towards the turn on hairpin. This is going to be extremely close. How much of an undercut, if at all, has Davis managed here? Let's look at Kilov. I think he's just stopped. He's just about getting his tyres changed now.
I think you're right, Scott. Toby Davis has to assume the control of this race because Kilov's tire is going to be too fresh, and Kilov is too strong at the beginning of his stint. So Davis has to get around. Otherwise, I don't think this is going to happen. But it looks like Kilov, he's got a very good stop. Maybe a second
this is
slower.
close. It's going to be close. Davis down the pit strip, but I think you're right. He has just got out in front, but he's got held up by traffic. And that's Eric Tveit just in front. Tveit very sideways off the center chicane. And he just about holds on to it, but this is now allowing Davis to get right onto the tail of him. It's not actually worked out too bad, and Kilov's tyres will be stone cold. Davis's will be up to temperature and absolutely at their optimum performance right now. So Davis has the advantage in terms of how his tyre situation is, and Kilov is squirming around on these stone cold tyres. This is perfect for Davis. He now has an optimum opportunity to try and get through here. There's more traffic in front. There's cars going too wide up towards turn 8. This is now a real race. These guys are going to go to the finish on these tyres. We have now a battle for the lead here in this, at the beginning of this final stint. I think someone needs to say hide the checkered flag because we have a race in our hands right now here.
Toby Davis, you're right. He's going to have a look here with this lap traffic.
Oh no! Kilov hits the bar marker. Davis is
Ethan Bass,
Toby Davis leads. Oh, that is incredible. We did not expect that at all. Was that Tarbell getting past? I don't think it was, no.
Oh my goodness, let's take terrible for precision. I think it was Ethan Bass just got sideways under the brake and lost control of his car. Too much nerves there for young Ethan Bass.
I think it was Ethan Bass, you're correct. Yeah, let's go forward with Kilov then. He loses control. And he just spins. His car ends up on the exit, and there goes Toby Davis.
Kilov did not know where to go.
Oh my goodness.
He simply had no room. Just decided to go on the inside. Unfortunately, Bass slipped into him, and that, oh my goodness, that could be race right there. But as you know, Kilov is still right behind Davis, only a half a second in it. We'll see which one of these guys can keep the tires on longer to try and win this race. But you are absolutely right, Scott. We have a race in our hands. It's going to be fun, the final 19, 20 laps of this event.
And also, I have to wonder because Kilov did nudge the back of Bass's car when he was around, so possibly has that caused any frontal damage to the splitter? Of course, maybe that could be compromising his handling at all. As they head down towards the turn 8 on head once again, Davis diving up the inside of the back marker. He obligingly moves out of the way. I couldn't quite see who that was that moved out of the way, but Kilov is now pushing. That was Strauss again, wasn't it?
That was Sergei Yashin, I believe. He did that very nicely, just got out the way very, very easy, let those cars go through. So now it looks like these guys have an open track in front of them. Now it's just going to be which one of them is the faster driver.
On to pit straight then, lap 44. It's going to be a battle of tyre strategy here and tyre management between these two. Davis has the lead by half a second. Kilov lost it there if he just missed it by clipping the back of Ethan Bass after he outbraked himself into the turn 9 hairpin. He just went around and his car unfortunately stopped on the apex. As Kilov now has a look again, his back end just started to get away from him, and he's really starting to just move around the back end of this car, just showing his frustration. He really does want to regain the lead. He's been leading for so long in this event, and just to lose it at the beginning of this final stint, he now knows it's race against time to try and get past Toby Davis, because he knows that if he can't find a way past, of course, it's going to be game over. And the more that Davis stays in front, the more that Kilov is going to have to worry about trying to find a way through. Towards turn 8 again, just pokes out and has a look, and down braking towards turn 8 as they fly through this very high-speed right-hander. The wall on the outside looms extremely large as Kilov again under brakes, closing into turn 9. Nice and steady run. Davis a little sideways on the exit, as is Kilov.
Remember, these guys
pushing.
Yeah, these guys have been the rivalry within the TPS over the last month. And now once again, we see these guys fight for the lead. Remember, they've had some epic battles in Clio series, and we've even seen it in here. V8, these guys going back and forth. Absolute rivalry right now within the TPS. And again, Scott, you're right. If Kilov can't make this move early, the advantage goes back to Toby Davis because he's better on the longer stints. But the thing is, though, you also made a point that remember, Kilov went in later than Toby Davis. Going to have the fresher tires through the majority of this race stint. So Toby Davis got a tall order in front of him if he wants to keep Simon Kilov in the precision car behind him for about 17 laps, 18 laps in play.
They're going to have to be careful of these inside curves as well, because if they cut them too much, it's obviously possibly going to start causing some problems, maybe with the suspension. It has happened. It can cause problems if you cut these curves too hard. You can damage the front end of the car, also the splitter as well. And of course, we said, especially through those huge curves of the centre chicane, where we said earlier on, it can cause damage to the underbody of the car, and suspension, and possibly the transmission underneath as well. So they really have to start choosing their lines carefully here, and not just classing the curbs for fun here, as Davis again just sliding a little bit through the corner here. But these guys are just holding lovely controlled drifts. But of course, lovely they might be, and fantastically hard to watch, but it's going to be playing havoc on the tyre wear.
Yeah, this is the stint where both these guys are going to be pushing. I expect these times to fall well into the 20s at some point, because these guys are going to be absolutely on the limit, trying to push as much as possible. Because Toby Davis, we talked about it before that final pit stop, that he had to get in front of Keeloff. He's now in a position where he can defend. Like remember, we saw Robert Godica hold up Toby Davis for something like 10 laps to begin this race. And remember, Godica wasn't nearly as fast as Davis, but it's so hard to work out an overtake on this track that, hey, if you are the car leading, then you are with the advantage, because you can really defend on this track properly and hold off a faster car behind, which I think you're seeing Keeloff, who's right on the back of Toby Davis, only 0.4 of a second in this one.
Oh,
yeah. He's looking very... it looks like Keeloff doesn't want to wait whatsoever. He's trying to get this move done as soon as possible, and I think that's exactly the move Keeloff needs to make.
He can't let happen. He's let his frustration get moving around Toby Davis. It will of course be distracting him, but at the same time it's also going to be just getting Keeloff riled up in himself, and of course that's only going to cause problems not only for his tyre wear, but also it's going to cause his driver to be a bit more ragged, or be a bit more desperate, and just possibly eventually he's prone to making more mistakes later on. So really this is not benefiting Keeloff on several factors. So Keeloff really does have to try and dispatch, but right now Davis, of course, is feeling the pressure, but seems to be coping with it well here. He seems to be just not being too flustered. But that's a good extra from Keeloff as the final corner down the pit straight. Davis then in the grey and orange T8 ahead of the yellow and the fluorescent yellow, grey and Commodore, out of the Centre S and through up towards Wakefield. Wakefield moving around under the brake. Just trying to get that thing stopped. He really is pushing hard here.
I'm pretty sure Keeloff is almost afraid of Toby Davis's lap pace as the stint progresses. I think that's why you're seeing him so aggressive to get around Davis, because like I said, the longer this stays out, the longer these guys go, the advantage goes back to Davis. And so Keeloff knows that if he cannot get around Davis, and very shortly, where obviously Keeloff is very strong to open the stints, then I think he has a lot of doubt in himself that he can get past Davis once these guys both have the worn tires. But again, time is running out for Keeloff. About 15 laps and change here to go, so he's got to make this move happen. His opportunity is going to come, I think, in a few laps as we're getting into this more lap traffic. As maybe about 3 seconds up the road, we're seeing some guys. Remember, that's how Davis got around Keeloff, through lap traffic. We'll see if Keeloff can do the same back to Toby.
Oh.
Well, right
up the inside to get into the final corner, going to make the move stick. Oh no, my screen's sticking a bit, so I can't exactly keep 100% track of what's happening right now. But we take our eyes off the screen, because this battle really is the battle of the field right now. And Davis is a little sideways, and so is Simon Keeloff.
Yeah, we're seeing. Yeah, we're seeing some of the Jonathan Okercliffe, one of the lap cars, and Julio Ornelas, another guy. Remember, who ran some trouble with him a little earlier. So these guys, this might actually be a bit tough for Toby and them to get around, because remember, Ornelas and Okercliffe have both run into trouble while they've been lapped early on in this race. So hopefully these guys kind of just fold and drops the wayside. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Toby Davis ranging right up to the back of Okercliffe. We'll see how this progresses. And there it is. There's the one from Keeloff. He's on the inside. And yes, he's going to get around Toby.
No, not quite. Davis going to try and stick it round on the outside. Keeloff cuts across, and he's got the lead back again. Fantastic pass. Taking it back into Adelaide.
Wow, we talked about that, where it looked like Toby Davis was going. He got around Keeloff, of course, because of lap traffic, and Keeloff gets around Toby Davis simply because Okercliffe went in the position, but here's Davis right back on the inside. No, not going to do it. And I've got to think Toby Davis, even though Toby got his position because of lap traffic, he's going to be furious with Jonathan because Jonathan did not yield that position and it allowed Keeloff to go back to it. And now here we have Ethan Bass. Remember, Ethan Bass was the driver that Keeloff had trouble with the first time. Let's see if Ethan yields position
No
more.
trouble this time.
Yeah, there you go. That's better, Ethan. And let's both cars through. That's more. That's how it's done. So now things stay status quo. Keeloff from Davis, 13 laps to go.
So certain that Ethan Bass learned his lesson from last time because it means that he's managed to get out of the way safely. As his battle continues now, and Keeloff now, this is going to be the key now. He's made that move that he needed to make, the pass he needed to perform in order to take the lead once again. Now the key is going to be crucial. How much can he pull away here from Davis, if at all? How much life does Davis have in those tyres? How much does he conserve them if he's done so at all? How much does Keeloff burn his up trying to get past the THR Commodore? We'll have to find out as they head down towards turns 10 and 11, under brakes again and passing over the curves. You really have to be careful of that wall of tyres on the exit, just jutting out there on the exit of turn 11, because it's crucial that if you clip it too much or just take too many liberties running wide on the exit, you can clout that and it can ruin your races. We've seen a couple of cars do exactly the same problem on that area of the circuit.
Especially when your tires go, and all of a sudden, I know in that corner in particular, you can absolutely lose you have incredible understeer coming out that corner where you can't even turn your car anymore. And if you will go straight into the wall, if you mistime the exit on that corner, especially with the worn tires. But both these guys so far navigate that corner, and the rest of this track very nicely. But Toby Davis is not letting Keeloff go right now. I lap from 18.5 from Keeloff that last time around. That's very quick for this stage in the race, of course, with the tires running off a little bit. So maybe Keeloff has done better to wait on his final pit stop. Maybe he's got more life in those tires. Maybe he can hold off Toby Davis, who I think now they're getting up to Matthew Orban, another lap car. We'll see maybe if Toby Davis can use that to his advantage to get back into the lead of this race.
He's right on the rear wing of this precision car. Will he try to dive up the inside of turn 9? Is there enough room? No, there's not. He's allowing Keeloff to worry about trying to get himself stopped. They're going to move past Matthew Orban. A massive move for Toby Davis. That was a fantastic piece of fantastic reaction to hold on to that. He hasn't lost too much time, only a couple of car lengths, but that was so close. We've got to quickly catch a replay of that. Can't car control from Toby Davis. Look at this. Out of turn 9, gets the power down, and he was so close to spearing it into the wall there, Danny.
That was very good from Toby Davis not to lose it. We've seen so many of the top drivers run into trouble around this track, but Toby Davis holds it together, still has a chance to win this race. And I know we stayed on this battle quite a bit. There's not too many fights going on in the field. I know Florian Strauss has just got around Ben Crooks for 14th position, but besides that, not really much going on the lead lap. Besides that fight for the lead, most of these guys are watching here. Bruno Salsa Ferreira, who's behind, of course, Ben Crooks and Florian Strauss. Those guys are a lap down. So remember, on the lead lap, it's pretty much just Toby against Keeloff for this race win.
Florian Strauss now just getting ahead of Matthew Orban as he exits the pit. So Florian Strauss advances another place and is up to 13th now after his first lap shenanigans in the Senna Air chicane, and that was rather unfortunate. He had got a great start as well to move up there with Toby Davis to challenge the precision cars, but just unfortunately karma didn't get the best of him, and unfortunately he was down to the back.
Yeah, he's done well to make it up from 13th position, so I give Florian Strauss credit for keeping his head down and scoring points, but looks like we have some trouble at the front, Scott. We're getting more lap traffic that are slowly creeping into the picture. Looks like, I think it's Kevin Enderman who's quickly been taken down here by Keeloff and Davis. We'll see if we'll have more lap traffic drama. I've never seen this many positions taken because of lap traffic. So it's going to be, whoa, Davis just cut the chicane right there.
He missed his braking point completely. I know the stewards will not take on that one lightly because they're not too keen on drivers cutting the chicane. Now, of course, Toby will probably argue that he couldn't get this car stopped, but that's surely something that possibly I think that the race directors are definitely going to have to consider later on early in the race. I don't believe he did it on purpose. Possibly just outbraked himself and had nowhere to go rather than hit the tyres on the inside, but it's definitely lost him a little more time. And now it seems that Keeloff, as we're talking about, on those slightly fresher tyres, the slightly younger rubber that he's got on that precision Commodore, now he's starting to just edge away, and possibly maybe Toby Davis was forced to try and up his pace a little bit, and that's possibly, he's done exactly what he was forcing Keeloff to do, just use his tyres a bit more in order to try and gain an advantage later on. I think that now, of course, the undercut, it worked momentarily when he was able to get past and stay ahead for a while, But now that Keelov's in front and Davis is doing the chasing, he's being forced to burn up those tyres even more to try and stay with him. And for the moment, he's just starting to slip back a couple of tenths per second, and that's not helping him out at all.
I was just about to point that out, Scott, because Simon Keelov just ran an 18.2, which is an extraordinary lap at this point in the event. So maybe Toby Davis is now realizing he's got to push almost absurdly now to catch Keelov, because Keelov is really coming into his own, and now with only about 10 laps to play with here, time is getting short for Toby Davis. He's got to find the pace in that car, otherwise Keelov is going to win this race.
And just to define how short this circuit is, tyre field has been lapped up to 5th place at Rasmus Salo, and that's incredible. Despite the fact we've got 30 cars, we've a 30-car entry for this race. I believe 29 started, and we're down to, looking through the order, we're down to 24.
Yeah, I think Godeka and Kevin Brent are still on the lead lap. I think Adrian Holm in 8th place is the last car, or the highest car to be lapped. But at this point, I think it's only a matter of time here for Brent. And actually, you know what? Maybe Godeka and Brent get through. I think Brent has got at one point a minute, 3-second gap to Simon Keelov, who's leading this event. But Toby Davis has taken that gap down from 1.4 seconds down to 0.8. So maybe Toby Davis has decided to pick up the challenge laid by Keelov in these lap times. But again, he doesn't have much time to get this done and to catch up to Keelov to make this over.
We're quickly looking at this battle here between the two core racing machines, Heinz Petzold, the South African, and his teammate, Darren Adams. What's quite intriguing, in fact, they're both in the same team, but one's driving a Holden and the other one's driving a Ford. Yep, I can't work that one out either. but there we go. But 11th and 12th for the core racing cars, running pretty well. But also behind, look who's catching them up. Mr. Comeback himself, Florian Strauss, and he's possibly, I think, thinking about in the closing stages, grabbing himself a couple more places, and I reckon maybe even if he's quick enough to consider getting himself into the top 10. Because Eric de Veit, looking exactly to where these guys are, well, he's only just in front of the battle for 11th, and de Veit again getting sideways. The young Norwegian teenager getting extremely ragged on the edge of this cup with his Ford Falcon. So looking here, you've got de Veit here in 10th, Petzold 11th, then Adams 12th as Veit gets it sideways again through these corners. He's having major tyre issues. Yeah, I'm thinking either that we genuinely I think maybe he's burnt up his tyres a bit too much, and doing that is not going to help unless he's not really too bothered.
And then he hits the wall.
Well, he'll be bothered about that because he's nudged the wall, and that stuff ripped off his front splitter, and he's got to be careful not to reverse into the traffic here. He's dropped down to 5th. Going again, I think no, he hasn't just yet. He's waiting. Yeah, going past. So poor old Eric de Veit. I think maybe he was. Let's just look at the replay of that, because that would.
Yeah, and
that was him just messing around and sliding around. I would like to think he wasn't taking liberties here, and that was actually some tyre trouble he was having.
Well, if you notice on that car, there's a huge dent in that front bumper even before the spin. So I guess he took some type of contact or damage even before the spin. So, because that car, it's bouncing all over the place, and I'm pretty sure it's maybe some suspension trouble that caused that spin there, Scott. Because he did not look, that was not a healthy race car before hitting the wall and dropping way back through the field.
Possibly maybe thinking he waited too long and melted his tyres a little bit, and actually Dwight carries on. He doesn't enter the pit lane, so not either he couldn't brake himself,
no.
And he's hit the pit. He's hit the outside wall on the pit straight, facing the wrong way. And Eric de Veit, what on earth is going on here? The Ice Core Racing driver is having a nightmare of an end to this race, and he's going to have to struggle right round to the pit. I can't imagine he's going to be staying out. It looks as though possibly the right front tyre is delaminated, I think, and either that or he's got some suspension troubles. And this is Kika's look behind.
Oh no!
Me up on this one, and he cannot compromise this. Assured gets himself out of there and allows both of them through, as they both also negotiate past Ben Crooks, and the lead back 0.9 seconds. On this one. So apologies if my mic is cutting out a little bit. One or two internet connection issues. Hopefully haven't got much longer in the race, so we haven't got much longer to put up with it. But still, Keeloff leads from Davis then. Gap is down to less than a second. Let's look at the second splitters. Oh, Davis gets a little too ragged through turn 8 there. Just very lucky not to swipe the wall on the exit. Gap remains at 9/10. And he's just there, he's still there or thereabouts. Davis hasn't let Keeloff get away too far. Keeping him in his sights, that's exactly what he wants to do. Just capitalise on any kind of mistake. As Keeloff gets sideways out of turn 11, and Davis uses a little bit of the exit grass. And Keeloff's looking a little more the riskier of the two. He's taking risks by clouting the curves and getting the car a little more sideways. Davis is taking the more smoother approach. And I wonder possibly how it's going to work out in the end.
Keeloff just ran at 18.9 now. The lap before that was at 19.3. Meanwhile, Toby Davis was running. He ran at 18.7 now at 19 flat. So he was faster the lap before. Just lost out about a tenth of Keeloff that time around. And right now, with about only 5 to 6 laps to go, Toby Davis, this is simply not going to be good enough. He's going to need Keeloff to make some sort of mistake. Otherwise, the Precision car is going to take down his second race win in a row. Remember, Keeloff, he won race 2 at Simmons Plains, is the on-form driver in this championship. But Toby Davis has only got about 5 laps to make a move and try to claim this race win. Otherwise, it looks like THR is going to lose out to Precision cars in the end.
On lap 58 to 63, then we move into the final few laps then of this fourth round of the 2013 Touring Pro Series Virtual V8 Supercar Series here on the streets of Adelaide. And of course, then afterwards, head into the rest of the season. Looking at the calendar, of course, our next round is going to be our first trip overseas because we're heading across to North America for a double header. We've got Watkins Glen coming up on the 25th of May, and then we've of course got Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal on the 8th of June. That's going to be a fantastic spectacle to see V8 Supercars on the Canadian Grand Prix circuit. And of course we head back to Australia for the remaining rounds of the championship at Oran Park, Sandown, another street circuit at Sydney Olympic Park, and then the perennial 500km endurance race at Bathurst. That is going to be some spectacle, 81 laps around Mount Panorama. But right here and now, we're still here in Adelaide, and Keeloff is now coming up once again to Jonathan Osserklint and trying to make his way past. Osserklint smartly gets out of the way, and Davis isn't close enough to get to follow him through in one fell swoop. He does get past now, and I think that maybe even Osserklint was a bit too accommodating on the exit, so I'm pretty sure he just nudged the wall on the exit too, because that's not going to do his handling too much.
I'm pretty sure he might be even a fair bit ashamed about how he handled being lapped last time, because remember, Toby Davis was leading the race, got to Osserklint. Osserklint held up Davis, allowed Keeloff to get through, and since this gap is only about 1.3 seconds, perhaps perhaps Osserklint has been the decider in this race. Well, him and Ethan Bass have both played a hand in who's leading this race at the moment. But right now, things stay status quo. Keeloff leads from Davis 1.3 seconds as the guys are about to get around to complete lap 59 and start lap 60. Only a few more laps here, Scott.
Absolutely. Looking back to the field, one man who is definitely still charging and possibly has a top 10 in his sights is Florian Strauss. Now, we saw him just about avoid the incident there with Eric Tveit, but he is now fourth and just a little bit behind Heinz Petzold. It's the car in front just then in the foreground sweeping through. That's the core Racing Holden, and there is Florian Strauss, 2011 series champion, and heading through, of course, Jesper Talborg is running in third place, the 2012 series champion. So we've got the
back up to the front. Toby Davis is only a 0.3 of a second behind Keeloff. Keeloff may have made a mistake. That gap has come down to second with only half a lap, and Toby Davis is just right there behind Keeloff. Almost made an overtake. Toby Davis seems to come right back to life here. Can he now take this race win? And look how far he's pushing to that wall. Wow, he really wants this race win, Scott. He's trying to push to the utmost to get that gap on Precision down, to get beside Keeloff to make this overtake.
There's blood in the water. He can smell a victory now. He is absolutely on it right now. He's chasing hard. I think possibly that may have been due to some traffic, because you saw in the shot in the background there were a couple of lapped cars there, so maybe that could have been the factor, especially you have the twisty sections through turns 4, 5, 6 and 7. But again, Davis is really chasing now into the final 3 laps here at Adelaide. This race is not over. Again, we say hide the checkered flag, because we have a real battle for the lead once again into the centre chicane. They're all together. Keeloff gets sideways. Davis with a better exit through it. He just closes in again. How much more life has Davis got in his tyres? Has he looked after them better? Keeloff sliding on the braking again, and Davis just almost glancing the wall on the exit of turn 4. Into turn 5 again, closing in. Fantastic stuff in the closing stage here at Adelaide. This is wonderful racing between the two of them. They've been at it all race long, and Davis gets sideways through turn 6. Drifting through turn 7 goes Simon Keeloff, both over the exit curve. Onto the back straight for the 61st time of 63. And Keeloff has the advantage. But, Danny, for how much longer? Does Davis have a chance here?
It seems like now that gap is down to half a second. Looks like, I think you're right, Scott, that maybe there was some lap traffic, or maybe just a mistake by Keeloff that pulled that gap down to 3.
Davis got straight on!
Oh,
that was close. Davis ran just too deep. Let's quick look at a replay of that.
Yeah, it almost
Just
seems like...
got his braking too late. Oh, how close was that? Just avoiding incident there in the back of Keeloff.
Yeah, it would seem like Davis has run those tires absolutely ragged. He's all over the place at this point, and I don't think he's got anything left in that car. What he needs is a Keeloff mistake or another lap traffic car to come into play here, perhaps give the advantage back to Davis. But right now, it looks like on lap pace, it seems like the advantage is position. But this next car coming up is actually 7th position, Kevin Brents. I know we discussed earlier whether or not he would actually finish on the lead lap, but now it looks like Keeloff has made up to Kevin Brents. Remember, Kevin, of course, is a THR driver, a teammate to Toby Davis. I'm curious how this is going to play out here. I think Kevin's just going to let Keeloff through, but perhaps maybe the little team orders for THR, but no, that's not the case. Kevin is a pure gentleman, allows Keeloff and Toby Davis to go through and continue to scrap for the lead with only a lap and a half remaining.
And just saw there, just a quick clip of Darren Adams, who has crashed out of the race for Core Racing, so he is now out with a handful of laps to go. And also looks like, I think also Florian Strauss has had something happen to him, because he's down to 12th, and been passed by a charging Matej Orban. So Matej Orban is just a glimpse away from a top 10 finish. In fact, there's a great battle going on. Oh, and Davis was very sideways. I think that may have possibly just halted his charge here. Very sideways on the exit of turn 10, or turn 11, excuse me. And I think unless something major happens here to Keeloff, and I don't want to curse it. Oh, very sideways Keeloff. That was a huge tank flapper.
Wow.
He just held on to that. But onto the final lap they go then. This is it. One more tour of the Adelaide Parkland circuit. Davis' last opportunity. Oh, and Davis is sideways again. Oh, that possibly could have done it. I think that possibly has settled the race. I think unless Keeloff is going to struggle on these tyres as well. But these two really fighting these cars. They get another huge tank flapper from Keeloff. These guys are literally in the red when it comes to tyres. They are absolutely on the ragged edge.
You can just tell, both these guys have exerted everything from these cars in this final stint, because, these guys are all over the place. And again, Keeloff gets almost sideways coming off that curve. They've got to take it easy, because at the moment, Scott, it looks like we're about to see a mistake. These guys have just got to cool it down a little bit, take it across, avoid the curves, don't do anything stupid at this point. Because right now, it looks like any little twitch on the curves is sending these cars all over the place.
Well, heading through the final few corners again. Oh, another huge tank flap. Oh, this is too difficult to watch. Through turn 11, gets it stopped over the curbs, and he holds on. He's withstood the challenge of his teammate Rietveld. He's withstood the challenge of his tyres, and now he's withstood the challenge of Toby Davis all race long. And once again, Simon Keeloff exits the final corner. He can drift it towards the line. Simon Keeloff wins round 4 here at Adelaide of the Virtual V8 Supercars, and now he can let go with those tyres. Toby Davis has to hold on to second, 1.1 seconds back, with Jesper Talborg coming through to complete a double THR podium. That will do their point tally in the Team Championship very nicely indeed. Talborg, the reigning champion, it'll also help out his championship position heading into the final corner now. And Talborg then will take the final spot on the podium for THR. Fantastic drive for their orange team. And here's 4th place Jeffrey Wright, but we thought early on, Danny, that he had some problems and was really falling back. It turns out that it was only tyre problems, we think, but Rietveld then will hold on to 4th despite running one more stop than the guys in front.
He did very well to control the damage, to stop the bleeding, so to speak, and finish 4th. Because, for a while, it looked like he was going to fall outside the top 10, but well done from Rietveld. And here's a guy we haven't talked about, Rasmus Salo, quietly, to get with another top 5 performance here. Remember, Salo, he's sitting 5th overall in the standings, and to finish 5th here again today, absolutely great job from the Optimum sim racing driver. I think Robert Godica is there behind him in 6th position, who's fighting off, actually, no, I'm sorry, Godica's well clear of 7th place Kevin Brents to finish 6th. the cars, the rest of the cars are lapped, so obviously they're going to come across classified already. Kevin Brent's being the first of them.
Here's our full result then. Simon Keeloff taking the victory from Toby Davis and Jesper Talborg on the podium. Jeffrey Riebeld finishes 4th for precision. Rasmus Salo rounding out the top 5 after a very strong, but very quiet drive to finish in the top 5 there. Robert Godeker, after a brilliant opening stint to hold off the 2 precision drivers, managed to hold on to 6th. Kevin Brent takes 7th for THR Red. Adrian Holm takes 8th for Ice Cold Racing with David Junt 9th. And Matej Orban rounding out the top 10. Heinz Petzold managed 11th just ahead of Florian Strauss after his first lap troubles. With Sergej Yashin, Eric Strana, Bruno Sousa Ferreira, Paul Crawford, Kevin Enderman, Ben Crooks and Eric Tveit rounding out the 19 cars. And the rest of the field, you look here, Darren Adams didn't make the finish but was classified 20th after his incident late in the race. Kevin Engwin and Ethan Bass coming through as well. Julio Ornelas 23rd, Jonathan Osserklint in 24th place. So that is the race over. Stay tuned with us here because we're going to go straight to the driver interviews, but a quick word from our sponsors here. So back in 2, and we'll get the words of the top 3 and many more drivers from round 4 of the Virtual V8 Supercar Series. It's Simon Keeloff, the victor. Back in 2.
GamePod, the ultimate race rig for those serious about sim racing. Puts you in the driver's seat with all the controls at your fingertips. Be number 1 on the road, in the race, in the game. GamePod, the choice of champions.
InsideSimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
And welcome back to Adelaide here, round 4 of the 2013 TouringProSeries Virtual V8 Supercar Series, sponsored by GamePod. A fantastic day's racing here across 63 laps of the Adelaide Street Circuit. And we actually currently have our top 3 well, not quite our top 3 because we don't have Jesper Talborg present, but we have our 1st, 2nd and 4th place drivers in the press conference in the booth with us here. And Danny, I believe you have race winner Simon Keeloff with you.
Yes, Simon, second race win in a row. Obviously, you won Simmons playing now again here at Adelaide. I mean, so how does it feel right now to be the informed driver within the championship?
Yeah, well, I got 2 wins now, but I know Jeffrey is also pretty fast, but he got a front damage in the start, so he couldn't really keep up, so yeah.
Now, let me ask you about the race itself, because it was pretty much you against Toby Davis, and that became more clear as the race progressed with the pit window. In particular, in the first stint, you seemed to really fall off with your tire wear, but in the second stint, you seemed to correct that somewhat. So was there any type of thought process where you had to kind of back off in that second stint to prolong your tire life?
Yeah, after my first, then I could really feel I had no grip at all the last like 5 laps, so in the pit I took 2 wing more to the rear, so that seems to work well.
Now, for the final stint, you obviously went a little longer than Toby Davis. I mean, was there any concern that Toby would then undercut you and steal the race without, having to fight you on track?
Yeah, that was also why I pitted like 2 laps earlier than I would normally have done, so yeah.
So the final question I asked you, continuing on in the championship, you, obviously, like I said, being the informed driver for Precision, I mean, what are your thoughts about perhaps ascending from 6 on the table and to perhaps take the championship lead outright at some point?
Well, yeah, that's great, but I still see Jeffrey and Toby as to be really strong. It was Toby almost got me today, so I don't feel like just lead and just can keep going like that. I need to work.
Well, very well done regardless, Simon. Two race wins and 2 attempts to pass 2 rounds. So I know now Scott is with our runner-up, Toby Davis.
Yeah, I've got Toby with me. Toby, unfortunate to miss out on victory today, but second place is still a decent result. Just talk us first of all about that start, because you really got a lightning getaway off the line. You almost took the lead into the first corner.
Yeah, I got a great start. Fantastic launch off the line, and then was put on the grass, so I lost that again. Someone turned into me at turn one as well. So not happy at all about the opening lap, of course. I got stuck behind Gerdeker for, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 laps. I don't know how long it was before I finally got past him, but he did a great job defensively.
Do you feel that if you had been able to get past Godeka sooner, you probably would have had a better chance of winning the race today, or was it merely a case of the precisions in the early stages were just too quick setting a pace?
Well, obviously they went about this race a different way to us. We went with a tyre preservation strategy. We weren't pushing as hard in our stints, and that's reflected in the fastest laps of the race, obviously. But we were saving the tyres towards the end of the stint, and that was the plan. But Simon managed to do a PB, or close to PB 18.1 on the 20th lap of his final stint, which is absolutely insane. I mean, it's clear that he had plenty in hand on us, and even with preserving those tyres and maxing it out on the final stint, I was pushing like crazy. He still had that in hand, so they just did a better job than us today.
Both you and Simon actually went into the pits together on your first stops. Was that a planned stop to stop on that run, or was that a knee-jerk reaction to try and counter precision?
No, that was I figured he'd stop either that lap or the next lap, and I wanted to come in at the same lap as him. So I had my pit stop ready for 2 laps. So I came in when he came in, but I wasn't unprepared for that. What was interesting is that I managed to get down the inside in the pit lane, and then of course I got squeezed because his pit box was before mine. So.
And then in the final stint, there was a bit of what was going on up at turn 9, of course, when he got caught up with Ethan Bass. Did you think at that point that when that incident happened, you had the race there, or did you think that that was only the start of Keelov trying to make a comeback?
Well, I knew Keelov was behind me, really tight behind me, but I did 5 laps in front of Keelov, really saving the tyres, like driving as smooth as I could, trying to save them as much as possible, see if I could get that tyre wear back that I lost, because I tried to do an undercut on him. But it was to no avail, and he got by me when we were a little bit mixed up in some traffic, I think. I can't exactly remember his move. I'm still reeling about his pace at the end of the stint. It was absolutely insane.
And finally, just to wrap up before we hand to Danny again, of course, second place today. You've only still got one win in the championship with your race win in one of the rounds at Barbagallo. Going into the North American segment of the season, how confident are you to now try and take the fight to position once again? And do you feel that THR can overhaul them at Watkins Glen and Montreal?
I certainly think we can overhaul them. I'm not sure whether we're going to or not. I think we've got the drivers and we've got the pace to do so. I'm going to miss the Oran Park round on the 13th of July due to real life racing commitments at Snetterton. So perhaps the championship hunt is not something that I can aim for, but certainly it is for Jesper. So I'm going to try and help him as much as I can.
Well, brilliant effort today, and commiserations on losing out to the race victory, but well done on second anyway. And we've got Danny, I believe you've got 4th place Jeffrey Reetbelt with you.
Yeah, Jeffrey. Obviously, you're coming off a race win in your own right at round 3 at Simmons Plains. Today, you were on pole position. You look so strong through testing, but again, it seems like you fell off a bit with the tire conservation. So, what is it that you can do to kind of correct that?
Well, the problem was I had pole, of course, had a poor start, and I saw Toby coming, so I decided to defend the inside line. Then I went back to the racing line, and he still decided to go for it in the first lap, first corner. I was like, okay, whatever. I had to turn in to just make the corner, and he completely missed it, as I already thought, because he braked too late. And I got some insane damage at my front splitter because of that. And that gave me like insane tire wear. At the beginning I didn't really notice it, but yeah, after like I think 10-12 laps, my tire was just completely gone because I had so much understeer because of the splitter damage. And yeah, then I decided to go for a 3-stop because even 2-stop wasn't even possible anymore because of the amount of wear. Still managed to get 4th in the end, so didn't lose that many points, but still quite a game about that first turn.
So do you feel that perhaps that you had the strongest car for this event, but unfortunately that incident then took you off?
Well, I could stick with Simon at the beginning. I was in the lead in the first lap, then made a mistake. He got by, and then I had the pace to pass him. So I think, yeah, the pace was okay because I even had damage at that point. So could have been a win, at least a podium. But yeah.
So I mean, you've got to be pretty happy then to come away with a fourth position, considering you had damage on that car, right?
Yeah, absolutely. When I thought, okay, let's do 3-stop, I can't make 2 for sure, then was like, let's just push like crazy because I can use the tires more because of the shorter stints, and was like, should be P10 maybe in the end, but yeah, P4. Quite happy with that.
The final question I'll ask you, as moving forward to, of course, like Scott said, the North American rounds of the championship, how confident are you that Precision Motorsport can now reclaim or actually take the Constructors' Championship lead for the first time, because you guys have yet to lead at this point in the championship?
Well, Simon is really like shaping up in pace. At the beginning he wasn't really there, but now he's really fast as well. So, and Toby already said he has to miss Orn Park, I believe. So, yeah, I think we should be able to reclaim I think we can claim the title at the end of the year, but you never know.
Well, thank you for joining us here, Jeffrey, and obviously a great result, fourth position, considering the circumstances. But I know Scott now has our next driver with us.
Yeah, I believe it's fifth placed Rasmus Salo. Rasmus, it's 2 decent enough results for you this week. Fifth place in the second race of the Clears at Thruxton, and fifth place again here at the V8 in Adelaide. You seem to be pretty consistent in your top 5 results.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, I believe this is my second top 5 finish overall. So, but yeah, it was a decent race. I managed to avoid the biggest pileups and accidents. So, yeah.
And just talk us through your race from your point of view, because you always seem to have a habit of having a really strong race, but being very quiet and conservative about it. So just talk us through the key points of your afternoon from your point of view.
Yeah, well, first of all, qualifying went pretty bad. I mean, well, 10th position, it's not that bad, but my time wasn't good at all. And then I got a decent start. I got up, I believe, one place, and then yeah, it was tight racing with Holm, Dwight, and some other drivers, and yeah, no big accidents apart from in the end I had a little get together with Gerdiga.
And then going towards coming up towards the halfway point of the season. Again, as you said, you've now managed 2 fifth positions now overall in TPS in 2 different series now in the past week. Just how much stronger do you believe that your form is getting across the series, and how long do you reckon it will be before you're up there challenging for podiums?
Well, yeah. Well, I believe consistency is the key, but at the end of the day, in order to, move up, I gotta get up my pace. So yeah, I suppose this is as far as I can get with just being consistent. So I don't know. I gotta find something new in setups in order to do that.
Well, congratulations on your another fifth place this week, and hopefully we'll see you advancing up the field even more. Danny, I believe the final driver you have with you is the man from 6th place. Who do you have with you?
That would be Robert Godica, the No Limit driver. I mean, Robert, absolutely tremendous result from you. At a time, it looked like you were even a contender for podium. So talk us through how that race went from your perspective.
First of all, the qualification was much better than I expected, because I did 1:17.8 and ended up in 8th position, and it was like something like 0.4 of a second faster than my personal best up to that point. So I was just blown away when I saw the time and was, okay, that's it. This is going to be the best qualification result you'll ever have here. And the more funny thing was that the start was actually, I don't know what happened. All I know is, or all I can remember is that I found myself at 4th position when I exited the first chicane, and I was like, oh, what the hell just happened? Where are all the other cars? I just took a look at the replay and I saw that there was a little pileup right after the chicane, so I was very lucky. I just got through there without any contact or something like that. And I think in turn 4, Toby just braked a little bit too late, and I was able to slip through. And I was almost feeling like really sorry for both THR drivers that I was actually holding them up, because I knew they were a lot faster than myself. But what the hell should I do? You know, I thought this is going to be my best race so far, and it actually was. And the pit strategy, I had no strategy at all. I just was driving, and I had to just look how long will the drivers in front of me, because both THR drivers overtook me in my first stint. And naturally, of course. But I just had to keep an eye on my tires, and just wanted to do nearly as many laps as they did in front of me, but I couldn't do that. So I just decided to do a regular 3-stop strategy, and it worked pretty well.
Well, Robert, regardless, a tremendous result for you. Get to 6th place for No Limit Racing. Congratulations. And I'm pretty sure that's going to wrap up our interview, Scott, unless you got another driver?
No, I believe that is correct. We've managed to grab most of our top 6 from today. So congratulations to, of course, our podium finishers and our Victor Simon Keelov today. Before we look ahead to what's coming up next in TPS, some final thoughts from you, Danny. It's been a fantastic race here at Adelaide, and I'm pretty sure that now we're going to your neck of the woods, into North America. I'm pretty sure the racing's only going to intensify as we reach the halfway point in the season.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the rounds at Watkins Glen and then going to Canada. I know Keith Barrick is going to enjoy that round. But for this race, it was actually a very entertaining race. We saw, obviously, Precision pull out to begin with. Toby Davis and THR with Talbreak. They fought back. But, you know, the interesting thing about that was, obviously, to me anyway, was Jeffrey Rietveld there in the post-race interview talking about that contact between himself and Toby Davis. He wasn't too thrilled about that whatsoever, so maybe there's a little bit more of a fire brewing there, even more of a fire brewing rather, between THR and Precision. So I'm curious to see how that develops as we get to the halfway point of this championship.
Most definitely. So it's fantastic day's racing ends here with a win for Simon Keelov, as we said. Now I'll take you into what's going to be coming up next for Touring Pro Series. The next event you can expect is going to be on the 17th of May, which is going to be next Friday, and that will be the next round of the Virtual Mini Challenge. They're going to be racing on the Sebring circuit, so be sure to enjoy that. The Minis always provide fantastic racing. I'm sure this will be no exception. I believe, this is unconfirmed, I'm not sure, but I'm not sure if Bradley Vanyan and John Monroe will be back once again to cover that race. If not, I'm sure we'll have the commentary team confirmed at least on the day at some point. And then the next event after that is, well, this is a great one, the one I'm commentating on. It's the next round of the Tom Onslow Cole Clear Series, and a race which marks the halfway point in the championship. They head to Poland and the fantastically remodeled Poznan circuit, in terms of remodeled as in it looks a brand new looking track, thanks to the efforts of Ryan Callan to convert the rFactor 2 version. So you have a brand spanking new looking facility which looks absolutely fantastic, and it's going to be on the 22nd of May at 6:45 GMT or 8:45 UK time. That should be myself and Keith Barrett commentating on that one. And in terms of the next action we'll see in the V8 Supercars, as we said, we're off to North America. We're heading to Watkins Glen for another 200-kilometre race. Going to be at the Watkins Glen, pretty much the full circuit, the IndyCar circuit or Grand Prix circuit. Another 200-kilometre race, as we said, 25th of May that happens, same time in 2 weeks. Well, I can honestly say, I'm not sure if I'll be around for that one, but I can certainly say for myself and for Danny Asbury, I've certainly enjoyed commentating alongside Danny this evening for this race. And hopefully you've enjoyed the broadcast. And from us all of us here at Touring Pro Series, we'll catch you next time. But until then, for myself and Danny, goodbye for now.